Okay, I think I'm recording the YouTube thing. I'm recording the thing that's for the other place than YouTube. Everything seems to be set up correctly. Audio seems to be working. People are yapping in chat. That's what we like to see. And I think we're more or less ready. So, hello. Has-Been Hotel is ending. If you were watching the episodes, it would be over in about an hour or so. But since you're watching these, it'll be over in about, checks notes, 7 to 10 hours. Who knows? Could be a while. Welcome along to a Has-Been Hotel Season 2 finale reaction. If you've not been along to one of these before, again, strange place to jump in. But the way that these work is that I don't want to have to fight Amazon for every 5 seconds of footage that I want to react to, and I don't want to have to edit this very heavily. So I am pawning that duty onto you, essentially. Imagine that you and I are sitting on a couch next to each other. I have my computer, laptop, and my headphones. You have your laptop and your headphones, and we're watching the same thing at the same time. Every once in a while, I'll be like, shit, I need to yap to you about something shit that's happened here. So I'll say 3, 2, 1, pause, and then we'll pause at the same time. And then I'll do my yapping, and I'll point at my screen, and I'll go back and forth, and I'll do my scroll. And then once I'm done, we'll return to exactly where we were, so don't move the playhead in your own thing. And I'll say 3, 2, 1, go, and then we'll go together. As in, we'll press play together, not as in we'll pee together. That would be weird. We don't have that kind of friendship. And in that way, we shall stay in sync, more or less, and we shall watch the episode together. Essentially, is how this works. Now, if this seems very inconvenient to you, it's because it is. I am offloading my inconvenience onto you so that it's inconvenient for you. But if you do want the convenience of something that's a little bit easier to follow, and you don't have to do quite as much nonsense, well, you can become a member of the channel, or support me on Patreon, or literally whatever. And over on the Discord, there is a way to make this a little bit more convenient for you, if that's something you want. You absolutely don't have to, though. Oh, I see I got chat talking about piss again. Well, that happens pretty regularly. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So I've managed to, despite waiting like 24 or 36 hours before I actually watch this thing, I've managed to matrix dodge the vast majority of spoilers. I get spoiled a little bit on one thing, which I'm not 100% sure how major it is. But outside of that, I've managed to, like, just through the ancient kung fu art of don't go on social media, I have managed to avoid almost all spoilers, so I can go in pure and unaffected. And I am much curious to see what will happen. Much curious indeed. Because having reflected on the season so far, and the seasons being 8 episodes, I'm like, one of the big problems season 1 had was that it had to wrap up everything. Right, is that it had a very big setup, it had a lot of characters, a lot of shit too, and one of the big problems was that by the end of season 1, they kind of had to wrap their shit up, right? Like, they kind of had to get to the conclusion of the whole genocide storyline. They had to have, like, that conclusion, and I know that episode 8, in fact, I can just look at the thing here, episode 8 is substantially longer than other episodes have been. So my worry is how much they're going to stuff in there to try and wrap up all their storylines, and what extent to which, because they now know that they have season 3, 4, and 5 to play with. I think it is confirmed up to 5 seasons for Has-Been, right? Because they know that they have all that extra space to play with, to what extent they're going to cliffhanger us. Like, to what extent this is going to be more like most TV shows where they end on a big, like, oh, what's going to happen to get people back for the next season? And I'm not going to lie, if Lilith doesn't fucking show soon, and I don't mean in terms of, like, she has to be, like, a major character and have a whole storyline, but just, like, if we don't get some clue, a hint, any kind of anything about what the fuck the deal is with her, because my primary curiosity with Lilith is, what did she do? Right? Because ostensibly, as things have been laid out for us so far, is the genocide began, the exterminations started in response to Lilith organizing hell to argue for better conditions, right? Ostensibly. And Sarah certainly seems to have taken that as a threat of a declaration of war. Vox definitely conceives of this as like, no, she definitely threatened them with war and murder, and that's why I'm threatening them with war and murder, because of that's what Lilith did. But Vox is a fucking liar, and Sarah is a paranoid lunatic, who's desperately, completely terrified of sinners and doesn't see them as human beings. So I can't help but wonder if maybe what she actually did was like, hey, things need to get better, and if they don't get better, then people will get angry and bad things will happen. And then heaven was like, that's a threat of war! Oh no! Exterminate them all! Like, whether she was... Because, like, a part of negotiating for better conditions, right? And this is true, like, on every level, from union negotiation to, like anything, is like, at some point you have to say, or else, right? Like, these are our demands. We want things to get better for us, or else. Right? At some point, there has to be, like, if these things do not improve, then there will be a consequence. And I can see someone like Sarah hearing even the vaguest hint of the idea that there could be a consequence for sinners being forced to suffer forever for eternity in hell. And hearing, like, that means you're going to kill us all! Right? I can see someone as paranoid and uncommunicative as Sarah spiraling herself into that kind of a situation. Like, I don't think Lilith would have had to threaten her that hard in order for Sarah to get very, very spooked, and in order for, like, it to be possible for Adam to go, hey, you know what? I kind of want to murder people for fun. Why don't you let me do that? I also want to know what the fuck the Exterminators... Like, I'm still stuck on... Vaggie isn't 7 years old, right? It's like, the Exterminators they existed before... They must have existed before the 7-year thing, right? Surely. Which begs the question of, like, what the fuck were they... If heaven had an army before that, what the fuck did they have an army for? What was the... Like, why did you... What did you think you were going to have to fight? Exactly. That's a little worrying. And if you... if you had an army of exterminators before hell even began to argue for uprising, that's another thing of, like, so you had, like, you had just had an army of exterminators just ready, just sitting around just in case. That says something about the attitude of heaven, I think. So I'm curious about these things, and my point is, I don't think I'm gonna get any answers. I think if Lilith shows up, it'll be like in the very last... Like, they'll do the exact same fucking thing they did in season 1, where it's like, oh, basically as a post-credit scene, more or less, it's like Lute goes out and say, hey, Lilith, you're a character that people should be concerned about, and then she gives her a look, and then she's like, oh. And then at the end of this fucking season is like, Lilith is... She's spooking around in the back. She's there. Oh, wouldn't you like to know what happens with her? And yes, I would. Yes, I would. Spindlehorse, I would very much like to know what the fuck's going on with Lilith. Could you tell me something? Anything? Give me a breadcrumb? Give me a hint? I need it. Anyway, that's enough preamble rambling. Let's actually play the episode. So, in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, Lucifer, just critical perception check failures. Even I. You walked into a spooky warehouse, dude. But of course, he thinks he's invulnerable. Lucifer. Lucifer. There's a V on the... Lucifer. Lucifer. But of course, he thinks he's invincible. He thinks he's invincible. It's actually good characterization, even if it's stupid. Well, Alistair's having fun. Radio apple bait. Okay, I do like Lucifer here. So, big laser gun. Hey, we're back in the TV room. Looks different. Oh shit, human form. He was a weather guy? I can't believe Vox is evil, Stephen Colbert. I see. God, he's such a loser. 3, 2, 1, pause. Okay, Vox. Okay, Vox. Oh, what a loser. Ah, love that. I do love that. That's a brackets positive. Brackets good. It really is a series of critical perception check failures. It's like, dude, the logo is there, right? There's an X on the floor, but that's the thing about Lucifer. I do like this part of his characterization. That, like, Lucifer and Sarah have something very specific in common, which is that they just don't think of sinners as people, right? It's like they are both in a position where they just don't really think of sinners as people. They think of sinners as like refuse or trash, or like something that kind of lost its right to be considered human a long time ago, right? And it's one of the less charming parts about Lucifer, is that he is so disconnected and disdainful, right? Like, he's walking into this incredibly obvious trap because he's entirely focused on himself and his ego, right? Like, out of a genuine love for Charlie, right? Like, he's not, but it is himself and his ego that is, like, taking over here. And he doesn't, like, a sinner can't harm him, right? There's, like, Vox could not possibly conceivably be a threat to him. It is not even within the realm of possibility that a sinner could be smart enough to do anything that could possibly harm him. So therefore, why be careful? Why take notice? Why pay attention? And Lucifer also, like, I can't do anything to sinners either, right? Like, like, they can't touch me, I can't touch them. We might as well not exist to each other. Who cares? So when he walks into this trap, right, it's because it just doesn't enter into his mind at all. It doesn't enter his conception that there could be anything to be careful of, right? So of course he's doing his little fucking showman dance, and I do like the little diddly-dit-dit-dit. I do like how much he's just in his own fucking world. And not paying attention to the world around him at all. It's good characterization for him. And that's also the thing of, like, Lucifer does not remember Vox's name. He barely remembers Vox at all, even though they had that big scene, right, where Vox basically schooled him. Lucifer's like, that's just poof, out of his mind. Right? He does that doesn't really register to him as a thing, as a problem, as real. That's one of the problems that Lucifer has as a character, I'm sure. Like, I would suspect that's probably the source of some of Lilith's conflict with him to some extent, is that Lucifer is ultimately a character who lives in his imagination so much. He lives in his dreams. He doesn't really live in the real world that he's actually occupying. And that if Lilith is someone who cares very deeply about, like, the struggles and the misery of sinners, I would imagine that that's a point of fucking tension, right? That she cannot get her husband to give a shit. And Vox, I do like that Vox is fucking repeating the trick. He's doing the same thing he did to Angel, again, because this is his one trick when he wants to do a dramatic reveal, right? Because he gets off on it, because for him, the show is a big part of it. Like, he gets off on showing off, right? That's the thing in the torture scene with Angel. The reason why Vox is drawing it out, why he's torturing him, why he's taunting him, is because he gets off on it, right? It's because he gets off on it. And it's the same thing here. He's repeating that pattern, right? Like, where it's not enough for him just to be like, actually, I trapped you. He has to do the dramatic reveal with the little Charlie face and the fake Charlie voice. And props to the animators for, like, adopting a little bit of, like, a Charlie-esque affect in his facial animation as well, and mixing that in with Vox. You can see, like, he's even got Charlie's teeth here rather than the shark teeth he usually has. He has Charlie's mouth, basically, because he's speaking through her mouth. I like that. That is very cute. But again, Vox is a showman. He cannot help. He has to put on a show. He has to be the center of attention. And he has to be like, yeah, I fooled you, and I tricked you, and I'm so cool, and I'm the king of hell. And that's where Lucifer, like, as a counterpoint to him, is working pretty well, because Lucifer still does not give a shit. Right? Vox simply cannot get Lucifer to be afraid of him or respect him whatsoever. I wonder if that's going to change once he turns on whatever the device is, but I kind of doubt it. And Alistair is having such a good time, too. And, like, you never know with Alistair how much he's holding back, right? Like, we've established this. The man is good at a poker face, generally speaking. So, I suspect for Alistair, he's like, Vox is overstepping his hand. He's overreaching. He's reaching far beyond what he can actually handle. Vox is definitely going to fuck himself up with this. So this is all working out well for me. I think Alistair is genuinely quite smug about what's happening here. I quite like Vox's affect here as well in his animation. Like, he swapped from, I don't need to intimidate you anymore. Like, because he's not on a stage trying to intimidate Lucifer to big himself up anymore, right? So Vox is swapping to the personality we'll see him display in the song, right? Like, in the song, it's Vox is, like, constantly doing this thing of, like, oh, trust me. Like, he's doing the ingratiating himself, charming salesman guy affect. So it's like, Lucifer, Lucy, and the little fucking... this little move where he leads with his head and then the body follows, and he's like, he has this, he's not really doing the big power posing, right? Like, he's not got his arms out like, I'm controlling the room. Right now, he's essentially being obsequious, right? He's like, Lucy, hi, buddy. Oh, man, it's been good to see, because he's setting up for his, like, big, I am the master of hell, I'm the ruler, and all that. He's setting up for it by starting out with his body language down, doing bisexual finger guns and all that shit. The sort of casual little salesman pitch thing that he's got going on. And then eventually you can see, like, the moment when he decides to sort of try and assert dominance. That's when the affect changes to, is like holding on to the railing going, you can't harm sinners. It's good character animation. Like, you can see the character's personality in the way he acts. Same with Lucifer. He's obviously much more physically constrained. He can only really act with his head. But they're doing a good job of, like, communicating his total lack of interest. I like that. Allowing Alistair, that's the thing, like, Alistair, again, he's also constrained, right, in the same way that Lucifer is. But they do allow him, the animators make the decision to allow Alistair to be able to lean back in the chair, right? That he can adjust the facing of like, the tilt of the seat as part of his gesture. So he can do these, like, leaning back, right, lean forward. That adds a little bit to his animation. I like that as a decision, rather than put him in a rigid chair where he can't do that. It gives him a little bit more expression. Visually, it also communicates that of the two of them, in this scene, Alistair has a lot more freedom of movement, right? Because Vox just isn't holding on to him nearly as much. Also, Sloppy, oh, when I get out of here, I will show you Sloppy. Radio Apple bait. They know what they're doing. Radio Apple bait. Bait. That's what that is. That's bait. And you better fall for it, by the way. Listen, Radio Apples, if you're out there, fall for this bait. I would like you to fall for this bait, please. You're going to create some lovely deranged art out of it. And you can see here that, like, because both Alistair and Lucifer are completely fucking ignoring him, right? Like, Lucifer sees this guy who's, like, a rival for his daughter's affection and is like, okay, TV guy doesn't matter. This guy. And you can see it again. Like, Lucifer's reaction to Vox is barely anything, right? Oh, yeah, sure. You're, okay, whatever. But Alistair shows up and is like, oh, my animation is all of a sudden a lot more elaborate and complicated. I'm actually much more emotionally invested in being upset at you and telling you that I'm gonna go sloppy style on your ass. And that, again, good visual communication that Lucifer is a lot more invested in antagonizing Al than he is in antagonizing Vox. And Vox doesn't like it, right? Teleports down, like, pushes them apart, basically, like a teacher trying to break up a fight in the schoolyard, going, hey, hang on, I'm the center of attention, pay attention to me. This is my scene, this is my big moment. How dare you not be intimidated by me? This is my moment, he literally says. I own the radio demon, and yeah, sure you do, buddy. I've talked about this before, but, like, there's agenda posting has sort of arrived in the Has-Been Hotel fandom, which is something I did not see coming, right? That people who sort of take, like, the sort of the anime agenda style approach to engaging with media have sort of shown up in the Has-Been thing and have started power scaling and doing all that goofy shit with Has-Been characters, which is fine, by the way. Like, that's fine. It's a fun thing to do. Although, be careful not to do it too much, because it will rot your ability to interact with media properly if that's your main mode of engagement. But there's been some discourse about Alistair being on fraud watch, right? Like this man is like, he was actually not powerful at all. And Lucifer is also kind of a fraud in being enough. But within the context of season 2 so far, the power system that's working here is communication. We've talked about this. Like, this season is very much about communication, right? And so within the narrative so far, Vox has been winning because he wins at communication. Charlie has had rings run around her by Vox because Vox is able to control the narrative with her all the time. Sarah had rings run around her by Vox because even though Sarah is by far more powerful, like, Sarah could blast Vox to pieces with, like, her little finger in terms of the power levels that we're operating with. Within the narrative of the show, Vox is much, much, much more powerful because he controls narrative. He controls the storytelling. He's able to play on Sarah's own shame. Like, that's the whole point of showing them, like, the actual pictures of the genocide as it was happening, is playing on Sarah's shame, is playing on the Angel's own shame. The fact that they are genuinely, at least Emily is, and Sarah is working on it, genuinely remorseful for having done the wrong thing, even if they have no idea how to address it. And that is what gives Vox power, right? So every time he has these confrontations, he has a confrontation with Lucifer that he wins simply by out-communicating him. He has a confrontation with Sarah that he wins by out-communicating her. Every time that happens, his power grows visually, right? Every time that happens, he visually becomes more powerful by appropriating the aesthetics of whoever he's just defeated. So that's power in the context of season 2 is communication. But there's one character that Vox has never, not even once, been able to out-communicate, and that's Alistair. Every time they have an interaction, every time they have a communication, Alistair wins. Every time they have a conversation, Alistair is the one who controls the narrative. He controls the conversation. He controls the premise. Because Vox is so desperate, first of all, to hop on his dick, but second of all, so desperate for Alistair to recognize Vox as a worthy rival, right? As a worthy, like, as a superior, because Alistair made Vox feel small, right? Alistair successfully made Vox feel embarrassed and small and insignificant, and Vox can't handle that. So Alistair has total power over him because Vox needs him so bad to be afraid of him, to be, like, in awe of him, to respect him. He needs it so bad from Alistair, right? And because of that, Alistair is, in terms of the power level that's been established in season 2, currently, outside of Rosie, who's the only person who can beat him in a verbal spar, Alistair's like the second most powerful character in the narrative because he's the only one who can consistently 1v1 with Vox and win, right? So that's, like, in terms of, like, I bring this up because power scaling is fun, but also there are many different ways to power scale. It's not just about who can throw the biggest energy blast. Power scaling can also apply to who has the most power, who has the most agency within the context of a narrative, who's able to set the conversation, who's able to drive what's happening in the story, who's able to force other characters to constantly be reacting to what they are doing. That is also a kind of power that you can do a little bit of power scaling on if you're interested in it. And I think doing that kind of power scaling will sometimes get you closer to understanding what the narrative of a thing is trying to tell you. But anyway, look at the fucking emoting on the eyes. It's just doing the full teenage girl curve, like, just the whole fucking... And the little leg crossover because, oh. And again, Vox is so desperately trying to have a villain monologue, and it's just the worst audience possible. Because Lucifer doesn't give a shit, because none of this is real to him, and Alistair knows that Vox is his little bitch boy. So it falls so flat. He's such a fucking loser. Right? And Lucifer calls him out correctly, right? Like, it's from my friend Carmilla Carmine, and Lucifer's like, I don't care who that is. That isn't, like, so what? I don't care. Right? He just cannot, and that's another thing, right? Like, Vox can beat Lucifer in a conversation in front of an audience, but he can't really beat him in a conversation one-on-one because he can't control it. He cannot make Lucifer respect him or care about what he has to say or be interested. And it annoys him. You can tell that it annoys him. And it gets to him because here he's sitting in his chair saying, failure, I'll show you. Like, he's seething. Lucifer called him a failure, and he's like, he's so mad. He's so fucking mad. He's shrinking and turning into a corn cob as we speak. Oh my god. He bought a whole newspaper so no one could put it in the newspaper that he's mad. Oh my god. Also, the extent to which he's just evil Stephen Colbert is very funny. Like, in terms of character design. And it's like, that's a sort of confluence, right? Because Stephen Colbert, in terms of being a TV personality, Stephen Colbert himself intentionally patterned himself on this kind of old-timey newsman also, right? Like, that's part of Stephen Colbert's whole aesthetic. And Vox is doing the same thing, so there's a bunch of overlap between them, basically just because they're both taking off from the same basic idea. Love me a good spin? Just good spin. Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. Nice little smear to snap into place. Rain, hail, or shine, trust us with your weather. Interesting that Vox... Okay. Because we see Vox in the past in Hell, right? In previous times in Hell, where his aesthetic is a sweater vest, right? Where he wears like a shirt and a sweater vest, and he kind of portrays himself softly in that sense. Like, there's a certain level of sort of Mr. Rogers' aw shucks softness to having a sweater vest on, right? Like, it has a certain element of harmlessness. And that's partly for the scenes with Alistair, right? Like, where Alistair is much sharper and Vox is definitely the softer little, like, the softer target, the more earnest little young demon, I guess, essentially. But it is interesting to me that in his real life, he did dress up in a suit. And again, loser, right? The camera is pointing at someone else. That's the way we introduce here, right? Is Vox was on camera, he had the golden light on him, and then the light went off, and then all of the cameras go somewhere else. What's happened to that guy, by the way? Why is he in a neck brace? Poor dude. What happened to him? All the cameras turn somewhere else and shine the golden light of attention, glittering like, glittering and beautiful on this. So this is now the goal, right? I don't like that I'm not getting attention right now. I don't like that all the cameras aren't pointed at me. So, in order to steal that light, we recede into the shadows. And then portrayed as a murderous silhouette here, not that dissimilar from Alistair, by the way. Nice anime flash. That's a sturdy fucking weather pointy stick. Like, I have a little telescoping like sort of pointer stick. I don't think I could do that to someone with it. Like, I don't know that it's possible to do that. Nice little waltz. Cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha. Someone edited that to make him Fortnite default dance. I also like that there's a little bit of the shark imagery there already. It's more of a fish, really, but... And then he jumps right into the spotlight. Oh, look, he already has his TV head. Wow, foreshadowing. It's not foreshadowing, of course. It's just a little bit of... And again, we do not share the spotlight. We don't like sharing it. Right, and now the same thing happens again. He's the host of, like, the Channel 6 TV news, and he has all the light on him, and then someone else has brighter light, more lights, more attention, more cameras, more of this. Conan O'Brien, basically. It's fucking Jay Leno ass. Someone else has more attention. And immediately, right? I will say, pretty strong for a human to be able to fucking swing a studio light around like that. That's like, those things are heavy, like, especially in the fucking 50s. And it also casts, like, Vox's ambition to enter heaven, right? It is... He's still chasing that light, right? He's still chasing the light of heaven, essentially, because the light of heaven to him is attention. And fucking... Is this you again, Sam Ames? Is that... Am I being Samantha here? Because it's one thing to rotate him, it's another thing to do it by single degrees. Like, it's the... One of the ways that you can tell 3D animation, right? One of the ways you can tell 3D animation a lot of the time is that if something is rotating very, very slowly, and it remains geometrically perfect, right? If it remains completely consistent in shape, if it doesn't deform or change in any way, that's one of the good giveaways for 3D animation, right? It's because 3D software can just do that automatically by math. When a human animator has to try and do it, there's always deformation, and you can see that happening, like, in the lines along the shoulder here. You can see that happening in the wobble on, like, his butterfly and things like that. Which is why, like, these kinds of very, very slow, very, very gradual rotations are some of the most difficult animation you can do, because in order to make them work, even if you don't have to be as perfect as 3D software, you have to approach that perfection. You have to approach that ability to very, very, very gradually rotate an object in a way that keeps the occlusion, in a way that keeps the volume consistent. And it's so fiddly, right? Because it's so much, it is so much in the tiniest little details making this shit work. And you have to work really well with your colorist as well to make something like this work. You have to have, like, a good working relationship with your colorist, that they can keep, like, the lighting and the shading and the volume, like, make whatever changes that they're making make sense. You can see how this little bit of light has to move across Vox's arm as he rotates, because the gap that's being created by the hand is different. So the lighting artist has to be on the ball with this shit as well in order to make it work, in order to support what the line art is doing, and the colorist has to be on the ball as well to make sure that all the colors are like, yeah, God, fucking hell. And again, this is such a show-off, because, like, for this specific shot, right, the background is doing the rotation. The background is kind of handling it. You kind of don't have to do this single degree gradual rotation of the character. It's not really necessary. Like, the shot is getting its point across. It's just extra. It's just doing more. And again, I've talked about this before, like, especially when I was doing reaction to Freeren, right? One of the things I adore in animation is when an animator is allowed and given the space to do more just because they can do more, right? Because there is space for it. That's credit to the production staff. We've talked about this also. When you're working on an animation production, the producer's role, the production coordinators, like the lead like all the production leads and the managers have an incredibly critical role in the production because they are the people who make sure that everyone has as much time budget available as possible to complete their tasks, right? Bad production management, bad production and asset management means that animators just, like, in an animation production, there's going to be less and less available extra time for animators to flex because they have to run more and more to catch up with, like, the chaos that's created by poor production conditions. So when a shot like this shows up in a show like this, it's credit to the animator, obviously, right? Like, it's credit to the animator who's doing the job. It's also credit to the production staff and the management staff who are able to make room for this shit to happen in the production, right? And hopefully the way that they make room for it is not with crunch. This is the thing about the anime industry is, like, most of the time when anime productions have, like, extra sakuga going on, you have to have that question hovering over your head, like, how many people had to sleep under their desks for 2 weeks to make this happen, right? It's something that I think I believe there's slow movement towards improvement on that front in the anime industry, but it's bad. Like, the crunch, the overwork in the anime industry is genuinely horrifying. It is genuinely, like, just, like, unionization in Japan is a difficult thing for many reasons, like, but animators in Japan badly need it. The animators at Spindle Horse are unionized now. I'm not sure if the people at Bento Box have a union yet, but I hope they do, and if they don't, I hope they soon will. Because part of the reason why we as consumers should want unionization for animators is because better working conditions for animators means more of this shit. It means more of this, and it means we get to enjoy it without sitting there thinking, like, did someone have to do an 18-hour workday to make this work? Did someone have to sacrifice their weekends? Did someone not get to go to their child's birthday? Like, you don't have to think about that shit, because when there's a union, when there's decent working conditions, you can have some confidence that animators have a way to argue for their own working conditions and, like bargain for better circumstances. And that could make you a little bit happier watching this stuff, because you don't have to think about, like, the suffering that might have to be spent in order to make it happen. Ooh, nice flash frames. And now he's fully Stephen Colbert mode. Very much so. Nice flourish on the little shuffle. And we're also introducing the element to him of the microphone cable. Vincent? His real name was Vincent? Oh no. Oh, Vincent. Oh. Very cute. And again, this divide between shadow and light coming up, right? Where Vox keeps stepping into the shadows in order to steal more of the light for himself. And we see the introduction of the tentacles, right? Like the cables as tentacles that he uses. Ugh. In his demon form as well. And then there's the shark element. I wonder if the soul of this specific shark went on to become Vox's pet. Also, not a very observant percent. Like, those cracks were obvious, my man. This, by the way, this is why, like, natural gas, like the kind of gas that you use for, like, filling a stove and things like that, it didn't used to have a smell. Like, that's a thing that used to be just the case. Like, that gas was odorless. If it was in your home, you couldn't smell it, right? Like, there was nothing. So you wouldn't really know that your house was full of gas until either, number one, you pass out from oxygen deprivation and choke to death, or number two, something lights a spark and then poof. So they had to eventually add chemicals to this kind of natural gas that creates a smell so people can tell what's happening. And this, I assume this is why the TV presenter here doesn't know that anything is amiss, is because this is a time before they actually fucking did that. I don't know when they did that in the United States, but, you know, that was a thing. Harry, Carrie, and Larry. Fight round! I kind of wanted to see the fight round on that show. What's the... Do they just have to have, like, a fist fight in the middle of the... I like the little detail of the pin popping out. You can see, like the little squash and stretch on the pin as it, like, pops out of the thing. That's very appealing. Boop. Vincent Whitman. Oh, Whitey McWhite guy? That's who he is? Whitey McWhite dude? Electric television personality takes world of entertainment by storm. Indeed. They're calling me a god, Bob! A god! Oh my god, he has heterochromia already. OC-ass character design. Very Ted Turner, this fellow, by the way. In terms of his character design. Ted Turner, owner of CNN. I don't know if that's an intentional visual reference, but... A whole week of just sharks. Oh, he invented Shark Week. Cool. 24 hours of news every day. It never ends. Nothing to report. We'll make it up. Definitely CNN. New sponsor, Cola Juice, now with more cocaine. Ah, the 50s. And you can see the little elements of Vox's aesthetic. Like, it's good world building that they're sort of including the little elements of the stuff that Vox would eventually incorporate into his demonic form. Ah, I see. He's also changing the lapel. Because he used to be a small fish, and now he's becoming a shark, right? Like, he's becoming a shark more and more. He's swimming in the waters of entertainment, and like, yeah, okay, I get it, I see. Anchor, lots of nautical theming on that. And now he's a shark with the V. And his own personal logo. Right? And I like the transition here that, like, the dude looks at the proposal and is like, yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to trust you, actually. That seems like a bad idea. And so the image we get is one where Vox is, like, forcing his hand. Nice little use of scratchy lines, like, of these, like, multiple lines up along the length of the arm to indicate the pull, right? He's pulling the guy's hand forward in a handshake, and then flash cut. And of course, Vox is dropping him off a building, because this is what Vox do. Vox never builds anything for himself, by the way. We talked about this in terms of the way that he approaches the songs that he does, right? Vox never invented anything for himself, right? He started as a weatherman, then he became a news anchor because he saw someone else was having success being a news anchor, so he decided to mimic the news anchor. Then he became a talk show host because he saw someone else was having a talk show, and he decided to mimic the talk show host, and now he's becoming a network owner because he's constantly appropriating, right? All he does is steal other people's ideas and other people's things and other people's innovations to empower himself, right? Like, that's his whole thing. He doesn't build anything. He doesn't make anything. He doesn't invent anything. All he does is take what other people have done and put himself in the spotlight. I really like the gesture. Like, the animators here are working with some heavy... You can see how the arm kind of looks like it's almost broken a little bit. Like, it's a slightly odd angle for an arm to be able to take. But it's all to emphasize the swoop into... here as we reach toward this key pose. Like, it's just overemphasizing anatomy in a way that's a little bit odd, but in a way that really sort of plays with the big fucking Sailor Moon henshin gestures that our boy is doing. You can see how the animator's really emphasizing the long arms, the sweep, the swoop, the pose, to really get the appeal of those key poses in. You can see, here's a principle called straight to curve, by the way. If you've ever watched the DC animated universe, right? Like, you'll remember the Batman cartoons, you'll remember Justice League Unlimited, things like that. There's a principle that's used a lot in that animation that's called straight to curve, which has nothing to do with sexuality in this instance. It's about how you handle the application of straight lines versus curved lines, and like how you handle this flow of motion and movement in a character. And so what you'll see a lot in the DC animated universe is characters like will have a very straight back, like so, and then all of the curvature of the character's anatomy will be put on the other side of the straight, right? So their shin will tend to be straight, but then the calf will be very curvy, right? Like, their back will tend to be quite straight, and then the chest will be bumpy with muscles, things like that. You can see that principle. Like, this is a principle that's all over animation everywhere, right? Is this principle of playing with the straight to curve, like very, very intentional breaks and twists in when you put the straight line, when you put a curved line, and how you balance those two things out. That's part of why Vox's poses here look so appealing, is because there's good management being handled of, like, here we have a fairly straight line, here we have like curve breaks on the other side. That's part of what gives him so much expression in his dancing here, is good management of those straights to curves. And straight to, like, it doesn't always mean like a literal rigid straight line. It just means a line that's reasonably straight and then a line that's clearly curved in contrast to that. And managing that well can give you like really, really strong, appealing key poses. Robert Sinclair. And then he gets struck by lightning on the way down. Oh my god. And now we are fully into cult leader shit, right? He's taken over the network. He has this audience of captive attention seekers. You can see he's unraveling too. That's another thing. We've talked about this also. Hair as a part of character design. When you want to show that a character is unraveling, when they're falling apart, right, or they're becoming more and more deranged, you can have a character who has a very controlled hairstyle, something that's very well put together, and then you can visually show them unraveling by making that hairstyle fall apart. Silco does this in Arcane. When Silco is in control, his hairstyle is perfect. And when Silco is struggling, when he's like, things are not going his way, when he's like having difficulty controlling himself, his hair comes unraveled, right? Like, his hair comes undone and isn't slicked back and under control anymore. It's a very classic, effective way to show a character becoming a little bit unhinged. Me jumping into the group chat to info dump about my hyperfixation. And he has fallen from grace a little bit, it looks like the fucking standing water. Are these even people, or are they mannequins, I wonder? And here you can see he's arrived at his costuming, which again is a thing I'm curious about. Because his costuming in the flashback scenes, where it's definitely used as a means to contrast him with and alienate him from Alistair, right? That Alistair is the sharp guy dressed in a suit and Vox is very much not. And my understanding of that so far was, by the way, straight to curve right here. Straight back curves on the chest. My understanding of that as a character design gesture was that Vox stole Alistair's style because he was so desperate to step into Alistair's place as like the premier media demon of hell, right? But because he already has the suit in his human form now, that sort of diminishes that point a little bit. Which, okay. It sort of makes me question the extent to which there's an intentionality to this costume design and the extent to which it's more on a case-by-case basis. It is funny that he has a death that's ironic in much the same way as Alistair, right? Alistair makes this deal with the devil for power, but then, like, that becomes the very, like, then he gets murdered in a deeply ironic way. He becomes prey, right? Literally, he wants to be a predator. That's why he takes the deal. He wants to be a predator. He wants to keep predating on other people, killing them, eating them, and then he becomes prey. He's killed as prey, right? So there's an irony there. Vox does everything he does, these deals with the devil, essentially, even if the devil in this instance is more him. He does all of this to achieve, because he wants his face on TV, right? That's why he does it. He wants his face on TV, and so the monkey's paw curls, and TV is on his face. And I guess it also fully electrocutes the whole room. And there's the V. Nice sneaky little V. Hidden in the flash frames. Very good. Oof. Brutal. The fucking cloak. He thinks that cloak is so cool. He thinks that rules. He thinks that's so badass. It's a cloak, my man, and you're wearing a suit. You're wearing a suit with a cloak, dude. Where is Velvet? Velvet should have been able to talk you out of this. How could she let this happen? This is going to be why Velvet betrays him. It's because she sees him in a suit with a fucking cloak, and she just goes, I cannot be associated with this. This, my brand, my label will not associate with this. Yeah, it's a cape, it's a cloak, whatever. It doesn't have a hood, I know. Velvet, like, somewhere, like, just has, like, this cold chill running up. Someone's committed a crime against fashion. Oh no, Vox, why do you think that's cool? Who convinced you? Where did you get the idea that putting a cape on a suit is a good idea? I like the stare animation here, though. Because, like, here we're doing a slow climb up towards, right? Up towards this TV tower, literally. But because the TV tower here is just a two-dimensional background, we can't have Vox actually ascend the stairs too much. So we're doing this little trick where the stairs are pushing down, and Vox is going up, and we're sort of emulating a camera movement towards by just having the background zoom in, even if it's not like a full, actual three-dimensional camera move, and it looks so good. And the smoothness that he's walking with also helps here. That we're fully animating on twos the whole time. And good job to the animator who's, like, handling that, because you can see the way that they manage the spacing, right? On the steps here, in order to give them that staggered approach so that it works with the timing of Vox walking up. He's such a loser. Right. And again, in case you thought things were being too subtle, in order for him to rise to the top of things, he steps on other people. Do you get it? Do you get it? Vox steps on other people because he bad. It's funny that even here, Alistair refuses to show up properly on camera. Because his whole ambition is all about stepping on people, right? Stepping over people. And there he is with his angel imagery appropriated again. The fucking cape! Oh my god! He thinks he's so cool! You're a loser, baby, but not the charming kind like Angel and Husk. You're just a loser. You're just a loser, man. Oh my god. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. Hang on, wait. 3, 2, 1, pause. No. You... Spindlehorse! Spindlehorse! You can't do that! She's texting her dad! You can't do that! Oh no, Charlie doesn't know what that means, does she? Charlie doesn't know what it means! Oh no! Oh god, okay, yeah, alright, okay. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Otherwise, not a lot to talk about in that sequence, but you can't do that! That's not allowed, that's illegal. There's a law against that somewhere. Oh my god. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. Ah, okay. So that's how he's gonna try to get Charlie to despair. Ooh. Well, there goes the shield. Oh. Suck it, St. Peter. I think it's funny when bad things happen to him. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, pause. So that's where that shot came from. Man, pausing right on a flash frame. Let's just have a little... I like the details of Angel Dust's costume, right? That he's completely dressed in the colors of the V's, the blue of Vox. He has the V slit down the front. What's that thing wrapped around his thigh? He has, like, the little V signet. Like, his costuming is clearly designed specifically, like, to repudiate... Like, it takes away all of Angel Dust's own colors, right? Like, all of his own pink. The colors that are Angel Dust, they're gone. They have been superseded, painted over with, replaced with Vox colors. I like that as a piece of character design. The poor assistant. And Val, who never changes his outfit, honestly. I think it's very funny that Vox reveals the most dick-shaped object a mile around, except maybe for the tower. And then Val is like, that looks like a dick. I don't like it. Oh, here's a little differential timing thing. So, Velvet and the assistant, and what's his name? Dude, Mr. Man. Oh, Ethan, right. I thought it was Nathan for a second. They're both clapping, right? But you see how the animators are offsetting the timing of their clap animation to just, like, give it a little bit more fluidity? I like that. That's a little touch, but it's a good one. Also, props, as always, to the animators for managing to make Valentino emote with all 4 arms. Because Valentino, because that's just what he's like. I don't like it, therefore, physically abuse the first and most available victim next to me. Because Valentino. And good voice performance from Keith David as Husk here as well. You get a real sense that he's sort of figuring out what's happening here. Nifty's eye getting so big. Oh, she's so cute. Profile picture alert. More profile. Lucifer is a source of many good profile pictures, by the way. Like, just if you want a good profile picture, you can count on him. Seraph wings, and then we just fully go Studio Trigger with it. Now we're fully fucking Gynax moding this shit. As we get this big undulating just stream of... Well, it's a stream of something that looks liquid and it's yellow. So, you know, make of that what you will. And some flashing light warning here as we're going to look at the flash frames. Just like this, the thing that's happening is like a big tube is just attaching directly to Lucifer's dick, and the pumping begins, and yeah. I've come to make an announcement. I'm pissing on heaven. And then we're doing a beam struggle, classic style. With like clouds and circles. And this slow penetration. And it is very much like, it is like, this is a thing that's sort of always universally true of these things. The language of penetration as a synecdoche key for domination always has a certain sexual politic to it. Pretty much in any context. Background character alerts all over the place. Shouldn't have taken that extra hour in the ball pit, huh? This was supposed to be the good place. No, that show ended after one very good season and then I think 3 or 4 other seasons also. And again, we've talked about this before, but the aesthetic of like tension and release, right? Which is so very much an anime, like very, very characteristic of anime, although not exclusive to it, which is you have this buildup of tension, buildup of tension, buildup of tension, and then snap, right? Then you get the snap, and then you snap to another position of like tension slowly building. Get owned, Peter. You dipshit youth pastor motherfucker. Right? And the same thing here. We get this build up of tension, build up of tension, build up of tension, and then kaboom, snap. And then as Lucifer empties out the last of his power, the stream slowly just sort of dies away. I'm sorry, but it's a big yellow beam. There's a reason the Kamehameha is blue. And then one wonders, is this debris or is this a counterattack? Because it does very pointedly smack into the extermination timer, right? Is this loot coming down? Feels like her kind of thing. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, just a piece of the... Okay. The gate. Homer Simpson receding. Time for a panic attack. Three, 2, 1, pause. So there's a couple of things. First of all, fully just Homer Simpson going into the hedge. I appreciate that a lot. That's very good. And then Lute reacting to this by being happy, because of course, Lute is the worst. Right? Lute is like, oh, cool, we get to murder and kill and there's a lot more people are gonna die? Excellent. Good. Right? My mission is incomplete, and her mission is to, like, kill and kill and kill and kill until there's nothing left. So for her, right, like, for her, a direct attack on heaven is good news, because it's justification for her to do more bloodshed, right? It's justification for her to act out her superiority more. It's a justification for her to keep doing the sort of purging redemptive violence, which is like the only mode of engagement that she has with anything. Which is a horrible way to respond, right? Like, to something like this. And yeah, there's all of Sarah's worst fears confirmed, right? Sarah's whole thing, the reason why she allowed the exterminations, the reason why she enabled Adam, the reason why she did everything she's done is so that any threat, potential threat to heaven, a conceivable threat, a hypothetical threat to heaven could be averted, right? Like, it's all for the sake of the security state. It's all for the sake of the, like national security, basically. She's been enabling the abuse of hell and the murder of sinners very casually. Well, not casually necessarily, but for Adam it was very casually. And all of that is coming home to roost. And all of this is happening. Like, her absolute worst fears are coming true because she created the conditions for them to come true, right? She, like, if she had not done the exterminations, Vox would never have had the platform that he has to do the things that he just did, right? If she had not sent an exterminating army to hell to murder people indiscriminately, this would have never happened. So it's very much chickens coming home to roost. And again, and much in the same way, if her first response to Serpentia's being redeemed had been to get in touch with hell and, like, use whatever power she has available to her to communicate to the sinners, redemption is possible, Sarah Morningstar has proven it, like, throw all of the weight that she does still have behind the hotel and say, like, no, like, the hotel worked, they have proven redemption is possible, these things can be done, we are committing to no more genocides ever, we are committing to a process of redemption. Not that everyone in hell would have just forgiven them or trusted heaven, but it would have cut the legs out from under Vox so hard, immediately, right? Immediately, it would have been infinitely more difficult for Vox to claim and to pretend that redemption is not possible and that it's stupid to try, and that the only thing, like, there are so many things she could have done to reach out, right? Like, to communicate. But what Sarah did was isolate, right? As she always does. She isolated herself from Emily, refused to make, like, the decision to do the extermination was just Sarah, right? She took that decision on her own in isolation from others because she didn't want, like, to allow other people to carry the burden of that in her mind, but also because she couldn't stand the thought of being questioned about it. She couldn't stand the thought of having to, like, justify or rationalize it with someone else. And she does the same thing again. Upon realizing redemption is possible, her first thought is, okay, let's isolate ourselves completely. Let us not communicate. Let us not open up any lines of communication. Let us not try and talk. Let us not try and do anything. Just close the borders, isolate ourselves completely, and then hope that things work out. I don't know. Like, so at every turn, Sarah has just made the worst and wrongest decision out of paranoia, out of fear, right? Out of anxiety, and out of this sort of obsessive need to protect herself from things. Also because she doesn't take hell seriously, right? Like, we saw that, like, I'm still stuck on this, that in the aftermath of finding out redemption is possible, she's like, we're closing ourselves off completely because hell has to sort themselves out first. And it's like, hey Sarah, you were the ones breaking it. Like, you were the ones sending an exterminating army down there to fuck everything up, and now you're like, oh, they have to sort themselves out? They have such a mess down there. Where did that mess come from? I don't know. Oh, it just showed up. Oh, because it's probably their fault because they're sinners and they suck. So it's all messy down there, and they have to tidy that up before we want to listen to them. So that fucking attitude, right? Of like, oh well, like, because she doesn't see the sinners as people, right? The sinners are not human beings to her. They're not worthy of respect. They are not worthy of engaging on any kind of like equal playing field at all. She does not want to do it because she doesn't respect them. She doesn't like them. Even when she has realized that redemption is possible, she still holds this attitude. We saw that in her confrontation with Vox, right? That she's just like, yeah, I ordered the extermination because you guys fucking suck. And she was like, I can just say that. And she doesn't even think about the possibility that, hey, maybe these people that you're talking to will hear what you are saying and respond to it in some way. Because she's like, well, I'm right and they're wrong, right? Like that imperial attitude that she has. And I mean, I'm sorry, Sarah. Well, I'm not sorry, actually. It is your fault. All of this could have been prevented if you've made better choices. The speaker of God told you, right? Yesterday you drew sorrow. What will you do tomorrow? And Sarah's answer to that is, well, I want to do absolutely fucking nothing, right? I want to make no decision. I want to not do anything. I want to not, like, because making a decision scares me, right? And I'm sorry, Sarah, but you are primarily responsible for this. That's what it means to be a leader, by the way. Like, yeah, there are other archangels and seraphs in heaven, and if you had talked to some of them about any of this, you could maybe have shared some of that responsibility. But you didn't, so now it's all on you, bitch. Sorry, you're gonna have to deal with that. Sucks to be you. And I'm a little curious about the decision, like, because Charlie is incapacitated by panic. I'm a little curious about Vaggy's decision, basically, to sort of do the same thing. Isolate, right? Like, we lock the hotel down, we protect ourselves, we wait for this to blow over. I don't think that's going to work very well, but we'll see. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. He's so pure! Oh, he has learned so much from Charlie. So are you, by the way. Yes! Yes! The quote! Human and alive. We fail, we repent, we survive. Three, two, one, pause. The fucking it starts with sorry quote. I remember this when I did my tier list for the songs of Hazbin Hotel season 1. A lot of people like, it starts with sorry is like as a low tier. It's like, but I was a defender. Day 1, I was a defender because I knew. Because I knew that that was the emotional core of the show, and I knew they were gonna come back to it. And this is one of those points. So, changing gears completely. Epic the Musical, right? And I'll get back to doing reactions to that at some point. Epic the Musical has an inflection point, which is the Vengeance Saga, right? Where there's this song where, like, sorry for spoiling Epic the Musical for those who haven't heard it. It's good. Where there's a song where Odysseus is finally confronting Poseidon in, like, an epic battle to something. And this is the moment when that musical sort of flips the audience of, like, either you're on board with this bullshit or else you're not, right? Because that song is essentially cast as a huge fucking anime shonen-ass, like, epic power battle, right? Like, epic anime battle confrontation, which is sort of a thing that's running as an undercurrent underneath that whole show, is like that Jorge Rivera Herrens, who makes the show, has a real obsession with anime. He really likes the tropes of it, and that's the song where he really lets that freak flag fly, right? That he really just, we're calling out attack names, we're doing fucking anime power battles in the sky. And at that point, I remember seeing some discourse about that was the point when a lot of people were like, fuck, this is too cringe, like, this is a bit too much, this is a bit too fucking out there. It was sort of an inflection point. It's sort of like, I guess, Arlong Park in One Piece. It's the moment when you kind of know, are you completely sold on this? Are you on board with all of this bullshit? Are you on board with all of the overt, like, this very earnest delight in something that is, at its core, a little bit juvenile? Or are you out, right? And personally, I'm on board, right? Like, it took me a second to sort of warm up to it, but once I sort of keyed into, okay, we kind of have to take our response to the level that the thing is operating on, and it's like, okay, cool. This song is definitely gonna be the same. Like, and again, I've stayed away from spoilers. I don't know the discourse. There are people who are definitely, this song is gonna make them cringe, like, cringe their dicks up through their assholes. Like, it's gonna. There are people who are just, who feel their soul shrivel upon listening to something like this. For the same reason that a lot of people didn't like It Starts With Sorry. because it is so, so, so earnest, right? It starts with sorry is like, it starts with sorry. That's your foot in the door. One. It's such a Saturday morning cartoon. It's such an after-school special, right? It's such a fucking Care Bears ass bit of musical theater songwriting, right? Because it's so saccharine, it's so sweet, it's so earnest, it's so idealistic, right? It's this thing of like, well, everything can be fixed if you just say you're sorry, right? It's that someone points out in chat, My Little Pony, basically, right? It's such a My Little Pony song, right? And yet, in order for Has Been Hotel to work, that's kind of the space it has to operate in. Right? That's the space it has to operate in, is in order for this central theme, the central conceit of the show is anyone can be redeemed. Right? This is the thematic core that the show has committed to, is that for the, like, even the worst people, the evil and the strange, for anyone in the world, for anyone, redemption is possible, right? Like, no one deserves to be condemned to eternal suffering forever with no chance of redemption, right? That's not the same to say as everyone deserves redemption just for existing, but everyone deserves the chance to get there, the chance to be better tomorrow, right? That is the central thematic conceit of the show. This is ground that the show cannot concede without conceding the entire premise, without completely fucking ruining itself, right? Like, if it doesn't commit to this bit, nothing works. And at that point, the choices you have available to you is like, okay, you can commit to that bit, but you can do it the Marvel way, right? You can do it Marvel, like the Star Wars sequels way, where you sort of go, oh, that happened. I mean, where you sort of take an ironic distance and you kind of say, yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of cringe and stupid, but oh well, I guess we try redemption. You can Buffy speak your way through it. You can try and keep that ironic distance from it. That's a way to do it. I don't like that way very much personally. I don't think that works for a premise like this. And so the other way you can swing is you can go, fuck you, this is a show where everyone swears and says piss and cunt and like there's porn stars and shit like that, and also we have a fucking song like this, right? This hyper sincere, very sweet saccharine from the visual fucking Serpentius with his little angel egg boys singing about how, like, people are afraid, but they just want a chance to see another sunrise, and we ascend into this beautiful, gorgeous, pink and purple, orange fucking sunrise, sunset, and two characters take each other hand in hand and rise into the heavens, blasting from the shadows into the light, fully immersed in the faith that a brand new day is possible, singing together in chorus while we quote from the previous most saccharine, most sweet-toothed, most fucking teeth-rottingly, deliciously adorable song that the show has ever had. It starts with sorry, right? Like, we quote from that shit, and then we ascend it into a duet where the characters are just belting their feelings 100 million miles an hour. And this is the moment of, like, essentially redemption for Sarah, right? And, like, you basically, either you commit to that shit 110% and you hit the gas and you never let go, or else it doesn't work. But this is definitely going to be an inflection point for a lot of people. Like, I predict that for a lot of people, this is a song that's going to take some time to grow on them. It's going to take some time to grow on them, this song. It also depends on how things are going to shake out after this. Like, because we've had the big song, but presumably it's not going to be quite that fucking easy. But I do like this as a piece of characterization for Sarah. Because what happens in the aftermath of this, right, is everyone is yelling at Sarah. Deservedly so. Like, when she talks about, like, oh, my position is so tough, it's like, you could have made it easier for yourself at any point you wanted to, Sarah, by talking to someone, by at least talking to Emily, the other Seraphs. Like, there were people you could have talked to about this. You dug this hole for yourself, girl. And once again, she's doing the same thing, right? Like, confronted with all of this uncertainty, not knowing what to do, I need to pray on this. She isolates herself again, right? Because she doesn't have the leadership skills or the coping skills to deal with all of this. And in fairness, not an easy thing to deal with. Especially when, like, you have Captain Genocide on the one hand, and Little Miss Sunshine on the other hand, and then Dr. Centrist here in the middle saying, I think everyone kind of makes a good point, actually. Abel, who just has no force of personality whatsoever. And I do like very much, like, because one of the things is Sarah, she has refused to listen to sinners about anything, right? She's refused to listen to sinners about anything. She doesn't want to hear out Serpentius. She doesn't want to talk to him. She doesn't want to talk to Hell. She doesn't want to talk to Charlie. She doesn't want to talk to anyone. She has refused to let anyone else in, ever. And I do like that it's Pentious. Sweet little Pentious. Cinnamon roll. Absolute little... little gummy worm Pentious. Who, first of all, is concerned about her, because Pentious is a sweet boy, right? Like, Pentious is a sweet boy. Who's the only one who responds like, well, she seems like she's kind of fucking scared and in trouble, actually, and who tries to engage with her, and I think this is important, on a human level. Like, as only a human being can, he tries to engage with her on a human level. Right? And Sarah, again, tries to emphasize separateness, right? Like, you can be of assistance to me. We are not the same, right? Like, you don't even know what the fuck I am, right? Like, I am separate from you. I'm a higher being. I don't live in your world. I'm not subject to your rules. What the fuck do you mean you can help me? You can't help me. Fuck off. No one can help me. I am alone, right? And Pentious is like, you kind of seem like a person to me, actually. Like, he kind of spots through it, and the reason why he sees through it is because he's kind of been there before himself, right? Like, Sarah right now is kind of in the position that he was in the hotel when he got caught as a spy for Vox, right? Where he felt completely alone. He felt like there was no one in the world who could possibly like him, want him, talk to him, empathize with him, care about him. And then Charlie comes in and is like, it starts with sorry. And that's like that. We know this from season 1, that's Pentious' moment of redemption, right? Like, that is the moment when Pentious turns from someone who tries to, like, assert power into someone who's just like, because all he has ever needed in his entire life is a friend to talk to, right? Like, all he has ever wanted or needed is a social group that will accept him when he doesn't really feel like, we know what he meant now when he sung, who could forgive a dirtbag like me, right? I don't deserve your amnesty. We know what he meant now is that he's also thinking about, like, the sins that he committed in life. And the fact that Charlie is willing to reach out to him and forgive him and be willing to, like let him make amends for his mistakes, that's part of what turns Pentious ultimately, right? And so I like that Pentious is the one who can kind of see what's happening here, because no one else in heaven has ever had to deal with trauma, right? They've never really had to deal with loneliness or difficulty, because everything in heaven is great all the time. You have Unicorn Polo and Pangolins, as many as you want. They don't know how to deal with difficulty, but he does because he lived in England, which is, anyone who's ever had to live in England knows what it's like to deal with eternal, unceasing torment. And then he went to hell, which is a small step up, but still not great. And then Sarah, like, again, the show is very much spelling out its theme here. Like, we're not doing it subtly. We're spelling out the theme here, which is, I mean, essentially the problem of evil again, right? It's this thing of, like, how can we possibly square the idea? How can we possibly square the idea that everyone deserves a chance for redemption, What the fuck are you talking about when people do genocide, right? Like when people murder and kill, when there is rape, and like how can we possibly square the idea that redemption is possible, much less the idea that people deserve it, right? Where the fuck does that come from? How do we even begin to conceptualize that idea in our heads? And that's a thing that's like, again, that's something we have to grapple with in the real world. Like that's part of where Has Been Hotel is more than just the fuck, piss, and shit show, right? Like the show with the cartoon characters and the Tumblr sexy men that say fuck and piss a lot and it's horny or whatever, is that it is trying to grapple with something that is genuinely serious, which is this question about punitive versus restorative justice. Right, that's one of the central cores of the show. Is it's an argument against punitive justice and in favor of restorative or redemptive justice, right? And that's a political debate that's like now happening in the world, that is now extremely relevant, right? Like, what is the purpose of justice? Is it to inflict punishment on the guilty? Is it to do eye for an eye? Is it to deter people from doing wrong by promising them suffering? Or is the purpose to make good, to create some kind of atonement for transgression, to eliminate the conditions that lead to transgression, right? To help people better themselves so they can better be able to live in a society altogether, right? And that's a fundamental philosophical question of justice that's like, that's not something that like that people invented when they invented the word woke or whatever. That's not new. That's not present. That is hundreds, that's centuries old as a debate in law, as a debate in moral philosophy, right? What is the purpose of justice? What is the role of retribution? These are weighty fucking questions, right? Like, these are big, important questions. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like this is a deep philosophical treatise on the matter, so much as it's an opinion piece, right? Like, this is not like a deep philosophical engagement with all of the possible angles on this question when it comes to law and ethics and things like that. This show has a standpoint, right? And it argues in favor of it, which is to say, like, as Sarah is asking, demons are at the gate, everyone's looking at me to do, how can I judge people when so many who could have been saved have been killed because of me, right? Like, how can you explain humans having enough innate goodness to be redeemed while they do something as evil as this? And the answer that Penches gives is because they're scared, right? Like, again, centrally, this is one of the things that the show is talking about also, right? Is that the show believes that human beings are innately good, right? Like, that in a natural state, devoid of all other outside influences, human beings will choose to be good, generally. And this is something, again, big debate in evolutionary psychology and sociology and anthropology, but this is something that there's pretty good evidence for, that human beings, absent other influences, have a tendency to choose empathy and care. We have a tendency to choose cooperation and peace. We have a tendency to not want to do violence to other people, right? This is why armies have to work really, really, really hard to turn people into soldiers, because if you just give a person a gun and put them on a battlefield, they don't want to shoot people. Even when they're being shot at, they don't really want to shoot back. Like, there's a lot of good evidence for this, that soldiers who are drafted into war will go into combat and they'll fire their rifles, but they'll deliberately miss. They will deliberately not try to hit the enemy because they don't want to hurt anyone. Because human beings don't, right? Like, on a fundamental level, we don't want to hurt anyone. We have to be pushed to the position where we want to hurt people. It is not easy to make a human being a killer. Armies have to work really, really hard at it, right? A lot of indoctrination has to go into making a person a killer. It's not something we want to be. And the show is taking this position too, right? That people wouldn't be this way except something is pushing them to it. In this instance, fear, right? And it should be noted, the sinners in hell have very good reason to be afraid, because of, due to the genocide and all. And also because they've been condemned to live in suffering for all of eternity with no chance of redemption, right? They've been told their entire existence in hell, that there's no redemption, you're here forever, hell is forever, whether you like it or not, you had your chance to behave better, now you're stuck in a pot, right? So, of course, people get kind of fucked up by that. Of course, that creates an environment where all of the worst elements of humanity flourish. Because you're going to suffer forever, nothing will ever get better. You put people in that kind of a situation, and they'll start behaving badly, right? And part of what Penches tries to use to explain human evil here is humans are afraid, all of us all the time. Mortality is a blade swinging with no reason, right? No rhyme. Which is, again, it's the problem of evil, right? Like, you live in the real world, and you can be Mr. Rogers, but you'll still die. You'll still get cancer. You'll still get hit by a car. You'll still, like, it doesn't matter how good you are, how kind you are, how sweet you are, how much you try to make the world a better place. Mortality can just take you out. You can just get a new disease that no one's ever seen before, right? You can just get hit by a car. You can just have a heart attack or a stroke. You can just die for no reason. And it's not because you were good, and it's not because you were bad. It's because sometimes people just die, right? And Penches uses that as sort of his angle to explain, like, why human beings struggle to be good is because they live in constant fear of mortality. And in order to assuage that fear or try to deal with it, humans will do and say anything just to live another day, right? Which, again, you can argue with that. It is an argument that fear is like the core of human evil. I'm not 100% sure I buy that totally. But that's where the show is at, or at least that's where Penches is at, right? Other characters might have other answers to this, but for the moment, it feels like Penches is acting as the voice of the show, right? He seems to be articulating the moral core of what the show is trying to say. And of course he does it. Of course he does it with a fucking spinning shot. And, like, Penches, for him, certainly the origin of his sin is fear, right? Like, that's fundamentally why Penches did what he did in life, why he let that woman die and never did anything about it, is because he was fucking scared. And as an overlord in hell, was he ever really an overlord, or was he just like a... He wasn't an overlord. He was just like an inventor who tried to be an overlord, who wanted to be an overlord. He was also driven by fear, right? Like, it was also very much about, like, I need to be the biggest and baddest, most powerful inventor in hell, so that no one will ever threaten me. Bah! Right. Very much driven by fear as well. I wonder what other characters might say when posed the same question, right? Especially the wings here on this rotation shot. Because wings are difficult things to handle at the best of times. He only has tiny ones, but... you can see how they change, like, when they reach the point where they have to turn the wings, you can see how they completely change the shape of the wings to just kind of snap them from one position to another to sort of bridge the gap into the rotation, and that's probably a good choice. Right? We're not really getting the gradual transition from the wings in the same way that we're getting with the rest of the body, because these wings are stylized. They're kind of flat structures fundamentally, so we're kind of doing the Goku thing with them. We're doing Goku hair with them, snapping them from one position to another to sort of get rid of some of the difficulty of trying to manage the volume of them. It works really well. And it's hidden well with, like, the overlapping action of, like, the fringe and the arm and, like, the chest all passing in front. Like, very well done. The art of animation is often the art of cheating to camera, and that's definitely happening here. Not to mention the hat. The fucking hat, man. again, that's a complex fucking structure to have to try and turn around. Because, like, Pench's otherwise, in terms of, like, his character design, the fact that his head is just an orb, right? Like, that there's very little structure to it. It's just kind of an orb with a mouth and 2 eyes on it. The head is pretty easy to turn around, relatively speaking. It's all the rest of the everything about him that's a problem. And there's a lot of good cheating to camera that's happening here. And there's an animator named Milt Kahl, who's one of the 9 old men of Disney, right? Like one of the legendary sort of foundational animators for Western animation, as was defined by the Disney era. Milt Kahl, he has a trick that he likes to do, which is the Milt Kahl head swoggle, right? Where he'll have a character talking, and at the same time as they're talking, the same time as they're delivering like an acting performance, he'll have them wiggle their head like this, like I'm doing with my little avatar. You can't see that in Discord chat, but you know. The little head wobble, right? And the reason he did that was to show the fuck off. Because Milt Kahl was a goat, and he's stubborn old goat as well, but he was the goat, and he could just do that. Like, that was a show-off thing for him. That he could make a character like waggle their head in like a really fluid motion at the same time as maintaining lip sync, right? As the same time as the character is doing a performance otherwise, like acting, doing other things, he will maintain lip sync, he will maintain the acting performance, and he'll have the character do this very subtle three-dimensional swaggling movement of the head and maintain like the talking. And it's a fucking difficult thing to do. These spinning shots are kind of the same thing for Spindlehorse at this point. They do these shots to show off, and the difficulty, it's not just that we're rotating the character, it's that while the character is rotating, I talked about this with the fucking Stola shot from Mastermind, while the character is rotating, the character is performing. The character is giving an acting performance, right? So the lip sync has to be maintained, and their physical acting, their gesturing, has to be maintained while we are doing the rotation. And it's one thing to rotate a static object, it's something else entirely to rotate an object that's trying to communicate with you. And they make it look fucking effortless, which is infuriating, but this is... Talk to an animator, and they'll tell you that this shit is just... You have to plug away at making this shit work for such a fucking long time. And again, testament to the quality of the production staff that they're able to give the animators time to do this. We didn't get this many fucking rotation shots in season 1, I can tell you that for free. We didn't get this many fucking acting rotation, little show-off pieces like this in season 1. I'm very pleased that there's so many of them in season 2. I do have to say, at some point they do have to maybe find another trick as well, because like I will simp for a rotation shot all day long. I will simp for a rotation shot from dusk till dawn. I'll be on my knees, I'll be sat, right? I am there. But I would also like to see other tricks. You know, like the animators are clearly capable. Show me some more shit like this. Give me some more shit like I'm... Oh, yeah. Oh, animators at Spindlehorse, I know you're displaying, like, high levels of craft and you're doing absolutely amazing things, but do more. Dance for me, monkey. Give me more. I'm sorry. It is very funny that the plan originally was just to kill Pench's off in season 1, and then that was it. And now he's the fucking emotional linchpin of the whole fucking show. This dumb little snake man, this silly little Alex Brightman-ass motherfucker, is the emotional linchpin for the whole fucking show. Articulating the central philosophy that the show is operating on. He pushes towards the light, Sarah follows him. And then we have, like, the debate part, right? Because, again, I think I commented on this in season 1. I think they do the same thing in the original It Starts With Sorry, is that they do the exact same thing. It starts with sorry, plink, plink, and there's 2 blinks there. Because they use the animation to emphasize, like, it's the same thing. He's doing the Charlie, right? Like, it's, as he's looking up at Charlie, I think he does the same, like, big eye blink, blink, or something like that. Like, it's the fact that they sing pling, pling. It's so cute. It's so adorable. It's so saccharine. It's so My Little Pony, right? It really, really is. What a good callback. Once again, vindicated forever. Vindicated forever for being correct about It Starts With Sorry. Now let's look at some flying animation from Sarah. Because Noodle lady. And then we sort of snap her into position here. And I like the sway, right? Like, because she leads with her head coming in here, and then her body kind of dangles like a bell underneath, right? I like that swoop. That's very good. I really would also be interested in seeing her out of that dress. Well, there's fan art for that. I mean, in terms of, I would like to see what, like, in terms of, she has this very lanky anatomy, right? Like, she has these extremely long, I meant for animation purposes, leave me alone. She has this very lanky, long anatomy. She has this swan-like neck, right? Like, her full angel form is essentially kind of extended, distorted wyvern or bird. I would be curious to know what her anatomy is like underneath that dress. Outside of that, like, in terms of how she's constructed, like, does she have legs, for example? We don't know that she has legs, do we? Like, is there even a body in there? Because so much of Sarah's character design, the reason why she's able to be so lanky and so long and designed the way that she is, the dress is doing a lot to just kind of hide the anatomy. I think out of the dress, she would look kind of vaguely horrifying a little bit. If her proportions are what the dress and the hair and all of that implies that they are. Yeah, Sarah letting the extermination happen while turning her back, right? Turning her back on it because she's given up on sinners, she's given up on hell. Or maybe she never had any faith in it to begin with. So she's just turning her back and letting it happen. I like the swooping. Yeah, the animator who's animating Sarah here is really having fun with it. She's very fluid. Literally, like, she very much behaves like a... almost like a character, a slime character would a little bit. The way that she compresses, right? And sort of snakes her way through the air. And expands. Just the longest neck in the universe. Another spin, another win. Very good use of, like, you can see the way they like, when she's doing the spin, the way they just kind of hide her wings by having them trail down along her body, sort of merging into the dress, so we don't really have to deal with them. And then we let the hair, like the long hair, do the swirl, do the twist. Emphasize, but the wings never really get to face the camera, even though, because we're just sort of hiding and cheating to camera, so that when she gets here, we can do this big unfurling and really blast that key pose for maximum impact. That's a very good way. Again, handling the wings on these fucking winged characters must be such a task for the animators. Because these are limbs that will, like, if you handle them realistically, they will occlude everything all the time. They'll get in the way of everything all the time. They'll be absolutely impossible to deal with. So I'm constantly impressed with how well they're managing both cheating to camera and hiding the wings when they don't want to deal with them in a way that feels natural, and also like using them as part of the key poses in a way that feels correct. Also, the fucking fluidity of motion on that hair. Look at that. That is fully on some Little Mermaid shit. Look at the weight, like the fucking the lines of the fall and like the weight and oh, that's good. That's good ass fucking hair animation right there. Wouldn't be surprised if it's the same animator who did Human Pinches who worked on this. Like someone who knows their hair is definitely working on it. It's so good. Pling pling. Oh man, that's amazing. I love that. I love the callback. I feel so vindicated. I love the vindication. I love being told by the show that I am right. I take this as a personal letter from Spindlehorse Studios and all the animators there that I'm right about everything and all of my opinions are correct. Vindicated forever. You cannot tell me anything. More spinning shots, because of course. Not necessarily quite as complex as other spinning shots we've seen, but more spinning shots because, and I like it here especially because they're waltzing, right? Like because Pensius is bringing her along to his point of view, right? So it's a waltz, and it's lovely. Oh, Pensius, you lucky bastard. You lucky son of a bitch. When is it my turn to be held in the arms of a horrifying angelic monstrosity? Preferably one that hasn't done a genocide, but you know. Here's another Disney-ass shot. Like, moving into the camera. Swinging around like this. This is very Disney, and like again using the trail, like using Pensius's long tail to really emphasize the swoop of it as Sarah twists up through, pulling him along, and then like we get the long tail and then we swoop into camera. Very, very cool. They're waltzing, right? They're dancing. And you can see these little touches of offset animation that they're doing with Sarah's wings to smooth out just a little bit as they go. But much of the work here is being done by the compositors also. Like, the compositors are the ones controlling how fast they shrink into frame, how it's moving relative to the painted background. The painted backgrounds are also giving me hella Hercules vibes. Like, Hercules, I feel like, did a lot of the same sort of structural work in terms of how they render the clouds. Right? Like, and obviously they had a little bit more of a thing in Hercules about making the clouds soft. But certainly the way they handle, like, the light being cast on them and the golden light, like, there's a lot of Hercules in there for me, I think. Also, some Steven Universe in the background work, for sure. But you can see the way that they're playing to the background, right? Like, because what Pensius and Sarah is doing is they're swirling upwards, right? They're circling and spiraling upwards. And the background itself is being used to emphasize that motion because they're following the swirl in the background. So, like, there's good work being done where the background artists are in tune with what the animators are doing. I wonder if they do the background first. Like, that must have been something they defined during the storyboarding phase. And presumably the animator and the background artist will have been working on this at the same time to make sure that the background fits the motion that the animator is trying to portray. That's pretty cool. more offset animation timing. You can see how Pentious is moving on an offset timing from Sarah. She's moving more smoothly than he is in a lot of these. And then they sync up, and then they separate a little bit again. There's some really good facial animation on Sarah here. Look at this. The subtle little twist of the head. You can see the animator doing it like with the line of her teeth. Right? Like the points when you can see the row of teeth behind and the points that you can't. Very good lip sync as well. Absolutely astonishingly beautiful singing also. Very good. Okay, what the fuck happens next? Let's see. 3, 2, 1, go. Vox, that's my thing. What are you doing? He's stealing my act! My moment. Yeah. He's so stupid. You're so stupid! You're so dumb! You're so easy! Fucking hell, Alistair. Okay, we need to talk about his animation. 3, 2, 1, pause. You're so dumb! You are so dumb! Alistair is topping you so hard and you don't even realize you're getting fucked. Oh my god. Oh my god. Also, I know it's not directed at me, but I can't help but feel a little targeted that Vox is looking at the animation timing of the laser. Like, I wasn't doing that like an hour and a half ago, however long this has been. I feel a little cold. I feel a little targeted. Oh, hi, Artemis. Oh, you want cuddles? Yes, there you go. Okay. Like, at least they didn't have him talking about the animation timing. That's always something. And like Vox would also have ruined this on his own, we should say. Like, even if Alistair hadn't been there to actively drive a wedge between him and the other Vs and actively get him to overplay his hand, Vox would have still fucked this up, right? Because his ego does not allow him to share the spotlight. We've seen, like, that's the whole point of his song. He cannot share the spotlight. He can't do it. He physically is not capable of doing it. Oh, did Val paint that portrait? Yeah. Oh, look, he has a portrait in his office that Val made of him. Aw, isn't that sweet? Two horrible, abusive monsters supporting each other. We love to see it. I think there was an interview with Medrano or some of the people at Spindlehorse where they talked about Velvet, that at some point in the production they made the decision that she should always be wearing a new outfit in every single scene, and they created a logistical nightmare for themselves because of it. But I do like that level of commitment to Velvet, that she never keeps a look for long. No, Artemis, you can't step on the keyboard. You cannot sleep on the keyboard. It's not for sleeping on. I don't know why you insist on that. And you can see in Velvet's animation that she does not appreciate being yelled at like that. At all. And it's a good little cross-cut that, as the relationship between the two of them frays more and more and more, literally Alistair's there, spooking about in the background, having the best time of his life. He's having so much fun. He's having such a good time. This is just a holiday to him. She's right, you know. And his animation in this whole scene, the way he has cloven hooves on his shoes, by the way, that's funny. The way he uses his legs to gesture with. Just the most bisexual sitting ass man who's ever existed. And he's not even sexual. Like, look at this. He's using them to gesture with. Oh, that's so funny. I love the emoting Alistair's doing with his legs in the scene. I will take credit to whatever character animator made these choices about his performance. Because, again, body language, right? Like, because he's emoting with his legs like this, because he's doing all this shit, even though he's tied down, there's this element of freedom, right? There's this element of freely expressing himself, even though he's supposed to be a prisoner, even though he's supposed to be constrained. There's a lot of freedom in his movements. And the way that he's moving around the space as well. Hi, baby. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, Rassel. Yes, I know. And he's manipulating Vox so easily. I was strong enough to beat you, wasn't I? Only with the help of your little friends. And as he says friends, he does the little owl head tilt thing. Because, of course, we know Alistair disdains the concept of friends. There is no friendship in hell. Let me just... Where the hell is my effects control? There. Let me just... Profile picture alert. He's fucking mogging him. He's fucking Chad facing at him. Oh my god. Hi, Artemis. Yes, I know. I know you want to fight. I know you want to fight. Oh, you want to fight. You want to fight. Yes, you want to fight. I don't really have any protection on my fingers right now, so be gentle with me, Speedy. Yes, I know. Oh, I know. Oh, I know. Oh, the wrestle. Oh, the wrestle. Sorry, this is Cat takes priority. She wants attention. Oh, she wants attention. Oh, she wants attention. More good leg gesturing. He's doing so much emoting. He has so much freedom of expression, freedom of movement despite being trapped. And he's dominating Vox in this conversation. Once again, Alistair has the highest power level, pretty much of anyone except Rosie, because Vox is being so controlled, so manipulated. And it's so easy. And like, again, Vox is an appropriator and a thief, right? Like, he steals. Alistair creates the idea. Invite Charlie to the party and like make her bow to you, right? Like, you could never do that. And then Vox immediately is like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get her here on camera bowing to me. It's the best story ever. It's a great, brilliant idea. It's genius. I'm actually really smart, and this is a great idea that's gonna work out great for me because I came up with it. Right? Immediately he tries to take credit for it. And fucking Alistair, how can your legs do that, little man? That doesn't seem right. But once again, gesturing, just using his little foot to go. And the little leg stretch as he's leaning back. He's so comfy. He's so happy to see what's happening. And he retreats into the shadows to laugh at Vox, and Vox can't handle it. He's so easy. He's so easy. Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely. And the thing is, like, part of the reason why Alistair knows how to manipulate Vox is because they are more similar than Alistair would like to admit, right? It's because they both have this desperate need for control, for power, for being the most, like, Alistair is desperate to be the most powerful sinner in hell, right? Like, that was the whole thing he wanted, was to be the most powerful sinner in hell, and then also to get out of his deal with Rosie, and then to be more powerful than her. Alistair wants the same thing. He kind of wants to be God a little bit, but not quite in the same way as Vox, and he's more experienced and smarter. But he's able to manipulate Vox because they share that weakness. They share that particular fixation. And I like that as a point of characterization between them. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. He really is. Yeah. Finally, she shares some power. Hysterical. Oh, fuck off. The profile picture of Charlie. That's a Gilligan cut. Yeah. Come on. So this is why Baxter's here. No. Why? I mean, yep. I see. Me too. Invent something? Yes. I like that he's still there. Who is he? He's Rooster. I mean, he's there. He's still there. Only true God. Okay, we're doing the medley. Oh no. Grow a spine, Abel. Ooh, good object work. Yes. Yep. Oh, that's the end of the episode. Okay. I know Vivsy has talked about how she kind of wants a new outro piece of music for like the more somber episodes, so that it's not quite as much of a like, oh, doom and gloom and everything's bad and okay, so we're setting up for the end here, right? Like everything here is about setting up for the finale at this point. It's all scene setting and stage setting. And poor Abel gets an opportunity. I wonder if he's going to get an opportunity to take any kind of assertive action before the end, or if he's still she's so fucking ready to kill. Just like murder, 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 murder. Tell them to stand by. What? But my murder. Record scratch. Stop. Owned. Why don't I get to kill anyone? Poor little useless marshmallow man. I mean, I'm glad he's not like his father. Like, that's something. Instead, he kind of gets to be an avatar of heaven's uselessness. And again, the change we see in Sarah here is that she's willing to trust someone else to make decisions, right? Go talk to Charlie, share that hope, figure some stuff out. You can make these decisions. It's this sharing power to lighten the burden, which is what she should have been doing all along. As Lute stands there being the Arthur meme. God, I hate it when women are happy about something. just her burning hatred of lesbians is just activating within her. I don't know. I don't think Sarah and Emily are siblings, right? More or less. Isn't that stained glass? How the hell did he? I guess the boy knows science. So with Charlie and Lilith, there's again this theme of communication, right? of someone trying to talk and someone refusing to listen or respond. And that lack of communication is disempowering to Charlie. The fact that she simply cannot raise her mother for anything. And literally, like, mom unavailable. Which is like, I wonder if that's what it was like in Charlie's childhood as well. Mom is just kind of unavailable emotionally. It's funny with this shot, it almost sort of implies that it's the shark doing the talking. Which I wonder about that shark. It clearly doesn't need the water. It was able to fly in the air pretty good when he was singing at Sarah. Oh, hey, I didn't even catch this earlier. The fins all have a V-shaped hook in them. Kind of like the lightning bolt design that he had in his hair when he was alive. It also has the antenna on its head. I guess he mind controls it? Speaking of the antenna, by the way, something I quite like about Vox's animation in Season 2 is all the secondary motion his antennas get to do, how much they get to wobble around. Right, like all the secondary, like it adds a lot of animation appeal to him, I think. That he has these antennae that sort of go back and forth. And again, I like the implication of Val playing with him, that that's like a sexual thing for him. And the casual sexism, too. The casual sexism is good. Don't clip that. It's a good part of his character, that he is casually so dismissive of other people. Right? Like, that anytime he has a means to denigrate someone, or diminish their feelings, or... Like, he does the same thing to Charlie multiple times when he visits the hotel, right? Like, this constant attitude of, whoa, hey, I'm just asking questions. I'm not saying anything offensive. Don't be offended. Don't be hysterical. Like, I'm just asking questions. I'm just honest. I'm just telling the truth. I just care about being... Like, that's his constant, this constant disavowal, right? Like, this constant dog whistling, this constant, like, pretending like everyone else is being so hysterical, everyone else is being so, oh, they're taking it way too seriously. What's wrong with you, you dumb bitch? Like, you're taking me seriously when I say words out aloud to you? Right. Same thing, like, when Charlie actually threatens him a little bit, he kind of goes, whoa, someone has a short fuse. Like, he's sort of, like, always acting as though he's the most reasonable guy in any room, right? Because, again, he has this pathological need to be in control. It's part of how he controls conversations, right? He deliberately pisses people off and then acts as though, like, them getting angry at the things he said to anger them is a flaw in them. It's a very common harassment tactic, by the way. Like, this is, like, the most common kind of harassment tactic on social media that's used to brigade people, is... You get a bunch of people together to say things that are just plausibly deniable enough to someone over and over again to wind them up, to rile them up, to make them angry, to make them emotional, to make them upset. And then the moment that person lashes out in response to being constantly taunted, that's when you go, oh, that person told me to kill myself. We need to ban them from this social media right? Like, whenever that moment says, go fuck yourself, you piece of shit. Oh, report them for being rude. Mass report them for being rude. Right? It's this strategy, right? Like, it's bullying. It's very, very schoolyard bullying. Uncreative also, but unfortunately very effective, because most rules of conduct, especially like in social media and things like that, are not really designed to make people treat each other well. They are designed to enforce a certain tone, right? And that's one of the big problems with community management in general, is that these strategies are very effective, and the only way to counter them is to be intimately familiar with what's going on everywhere all the time, and moderators can't really do that. Here's a perhaps underappreciated bit of animation. Smooth rotation on that chair. That's quite good. And you can see the line wobble, so that's like, it's not a 3D object. That's pretty good. Again, this chair is the sort of thing that if I was working on an animation production, I'd be like, okay, let's have a 3D model of the chair to do the swivel, just so an animator doesn't have to draw, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like 10 or 12 frames of this chair rotating. Because when it's this far away, when it's this small on screen, you can just kind of get away with a 3D object so long as you're compositing it well. And a lot of animation production will do this. Like anime especially, like if you watch a lot of seasonal anime, you'll notice that a lot of doors, when they are opened or closed in a shot, those are 3D objects. Because a door opening and closing, animating that smoothly is a lot of frames, but getting the computer to do it saves a lot. Like a lot of... It saves a lot of extra work. Are those his old heads? I can't really tell, because like they all kind of look like CRTs. There aren't really any flat screens there. I guess maybe he upgraded to flat screen recently. It's not like any other solutions are falling out of the sky. It's such a setup ass, like, you can, it's such a we're setting up for a joke ass line. It's not like a solution is just gonna fall out of the sky. Bonk, solution falls out of the sky. Classic joke. Hello, Rooster, by the way. I do love that you're still here. That you're just still around. Profile picture alert. So yeah, this is all set up, right? Like, this is all setting up the characters making the decision to come together for, like, the final stand against the villain and, like, the third act kind of. I do like Charlie's body language here, especially. Like, her body language is doing a good job communicating what a state she's in. Which is to say, a state of defeat, right? Like, so she's very crumpled in on herself. She's very, like, hunched over, shoulders tight, closed in on herself. And even when Emily shows up, you can still see that in her animation, right? Like, that she's not really standing proud. She's constantly, like, hunched. She's constantly a little bit recalcitrant. Right? Head bowed, a little bit down the whole time. And then Baxter. Finally, you get to be plot relevant. Like, we need a Baxter here because we don't have Serpentius to explain these things, I guess. And it's a little bit, I was kind of hoping he would have more of a character, given that he was, like, the new one who was being introduced. And he really didn't get to have that over the course of the season very much. He's mostly an exposition dump in terms of his function in the narrative, which, again, artifact of the show being so short. I reiterate my position that the show is a musical for the most part. It would have been good if it had been half musical and half sitcom, basically. Like if or at least if there'd been some number of episodes per season where it's not about the central plot, but it's just like a little vignette from the hotel about what does Baxter do on an average day? What does Husk do on an average day? Like, what do people get up to? What are the activities around the hotel when there isn't an apocalypse happening, right? Because in those situations, I feel like characters like Nifty and Baxter, and Cherry, for that matter, Cherry has also not had quite enough screen time, I feel, would have had a lot more chance to sort of express themselves and be characterized, rather than be very, very, very secondary supporting characters. And it's one of those things, like, they only have 8 episodes. You kind of got to do what you got to do. There's not really much, like, there's not much they can do out on Spindlehorse's side, because that's all A24 and Amazon are willing to fund. But it is one of the criticisms that remains of the show, right? Like, in season 1, it was really bad. And I talked about that extensively, that season 1 really had this massive problem with crunch, right? Like, that there's no time to let any secondary storyline breathe even a little bit, right? It's plot beat, plot beat, plot beat, plot beat, plot beat, and we can only go plot beat to plot beat, and there's no room or time for anything else. Season 2 is not as bad because it doesn't have as much plot to get through, but it's still there. Like, there's still definitely aspects of the show that feel neglected, that feel like they could have had more room, and could have done with more room to breathe, to really endear us to it. Because I do like the way that they play it here, right? That Baxter at the end here just kind of goes, well, you accommodated my sensory needs, and therefore we are best friends now. Which is like I've made autistic friends like that. It's a thing that happens occasionally. It certainly seems to be how he's coded. But it is the sort of thing, I feel like this would have been even funnier and hit harder if we'd had a couple of episodes of Baxter just still making no indication whatsoever that he's appreciative, like giving no social clues that he feels like everyone at the hotel are his friends, but he's always hanging around and he's always just being casually helpful without really saying it out loud. And then at the end, he finally says it out loud, and it's like, oh, right, because he was communicating like that he was becoming more comfortable by doing small things, but not really by saying it, because he just like give him some social characterization in the way that he expresses himself and his feelings. That would have been really nice. I think it is funny. I think it is a good little character beat. But it is the sort of thing I wish he would have had more screen time. I wish we would have had more time with him and Cherry especially. More good wing... also, this whole scene, good wing management on Emily as well. Making sure that they, like, work with her key poses. But Baxter's little confession here is very, very cute. Like, the little sort of slightly awkward twisting the heel. Spinning around in place. Because, and it's like, again, the animation is displaying, when he talks about, you always folded my blankets at the 45-degree angle to make it more tuckable to my liking. That does mean something to him, right? Like, for Baxter, that is a gesture that means something. That someone cared about, like, his... Like, this is clearly, like, a need for him. Again, if we're conceptualizing the character as autistic, right? This is clearly something that for him is like a sensory need, or something that makes the environment feel comfortable to him. It makes him feel welcome. It makes him feel happy to be in a space. And so that matters to him, right? Like, this is something that to him is a demonstration of care. And his animation really is like playing it up that, like, this is, yeah, it sounds silly on the face of it, but to Baxter, this is something that matters. And I do like that. I do like that this is something he's committing to emotionally. And I like the cross-cut here is very good as well. It would take someone in heaven with an intellect equivalent to mine to... And we're cross-cutting same pose with Emily. where Sarah is taking the place of Charlie, basically. I like that. That's just from an editing standpoint and a directing standpoint of like bridging the gap between these two scenes. That's a very effective way to do it. You want me to invent something? He's so happy. Again, if we conceptualize, and like there's many ways to read him, but if we read Pensius as some sort of neurodivergent, right, possibly autistic, you want me to do my hyperfixation? You want me to engage in my special interest? He's so happy. It's so sweet. I do like Emily's character animation in most scenes as well. Just the earnestness of Emily is something that's so loud and obvious in the way that she moves. Again, something that she shares with Charlie, at least when Charlie is like feeling good. And the animator here is having a lot of fun. Again, good wing management. With the settling and secondary motion on her wings. Right, the way that she settles down from this key pose to this one. And we do like... Because you could probably get away with just snapping her there without really settling her. But there, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3 whole fucking settling frames for her to sort of settle into this position, which makes it feel really, like, nice and smooth. And now that Charlie is sort of getting some faith back, right? Like that this is possible, that there is a plan, there's something we can do. You can see her body language has changed as well. The animators are keeping that in mind, right? That now that she feels like there's a chance, her body language opens up. She opens up her shoulders. She opens up her arms. She's much more confident in herself and ready to go. I will say... Yellow tooth on him, that doesn't mean he's in a soul contract with Val, right? I do like Rooster a lot. For all of the talk I've had about how secondary characters need more screen time, I think it's good that Rooster got nothing. I think it's good that no one knows a jack shit about him, that he's not really there, he's not really relevant as a character. I think if Rooster's gonna get an episode, it should be like an extra... It should be like a short, basically. It should be a short on the YouTube channel after the season is out, where, like, we get to see that he's actually, like, a really socially attentive and really nice guy who's, like, helping Vaggie run the hotel or whatever, but not until after the season is over. Because he needs to be a complete non-entity for the purposes of the season for so far. I do want a Rooster short. I want, like, a little extra Rooster episode, just Rooster-focused, when Rooster's doing Rooster things around the hotel, and everyone goes, hey, Rooster! We know Rooster! Rooster's our best friend! Everyone talks about Rooster all the time! But he doesn't show up in season 2 at all. That would be personally funny to me. Can I just say I love their friendship? It's so nice. Like, girls being pals with each other. I do mean that seriously. I do like that there is a sense of, like, it's not just that the two of them are in love with each other. It's also, like, there is also a friendship and a relationship beyond that. Like, mutual emotional support. I do like that. I do like their friendship. Also, they're lesbians with each other. Charlie's bi, but, you know what I mean when I say that. And I like that that's emphasized. I know there's been, like, and this is, like, not really for me to judge. I know there's been some discourse that their relationship is, like, not intimate enough, or it's sort of, it's a little bit sort of, like, too chaste relative to the way that sexuality is handled in the rest of the show. I don't know that I agree with that necessarily, but I know that that's something people have been talking about. I do like their physical intimacy, though. And that it's a very casual physical intimacy. that they touch each other, that they're like very, very close in each other's space. It's the same thing in Has Been Guarantee, right? Like they have that same effortless emotional intimacy and effortless physical closeness with one another. And I like that as an aspect of their relationship. That is just sort of part of the way that they relate and engage with each other. Is that there's a lot of physical touch involved in it. Especially because, like, physical touch is one of the things that it's more difficult to animate two characters physically touching with each other and interacting than it is to animate them all separately, right? Like, it is like when you're doing an acting performance, if you have two characters who have to give an acting performance simultaneously while touching and interacting, it's just more work, right? So it's one of those little things, those little parts of human interaction that does tend to get lost a little bit when you're sort of like budgeting out your animation time and how much time and space you have to do something. Physical touch, physical interaction between characters is something that, like, if you don't have to do it, a lot of the time you don't, because it's easier to animate the characters separately. So I do like that there is touch and there is, like, interaction between them physically as part of their relationship. And again, like I've said many, many times, Emily is Heaven Charlie, right? Like, they are very much the same. And the animators are very much demonstrating that here, because they are animated essentially identically. Like, short of Emily's wings, you can see how closely physically they match each other's exact affect, exact behavior, exact expression, mouth movements. It's very cute. No more playing house once they're devout. I won't need a squad. Oh, man. And he emphasizes this by sweeping away, right? Literally sweeping away the other Vs because he doesn't care for them. I see the hearts in your eyes, girl. You're not being subtle. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But, like, come on. It's like, oh my god, really, Val? Club consent, and then he's there literally spiking their fucking drinks. Jesus Christ, dude. He's such a piece of shit. He is just the worst. Except for Vox. Vox is very slightly worse than him, only because Vox is willing to take advantage of Val being the worst, and then be even worse on top of that. Once I get up there, you'll fuck it up. He's so weak. He's so easy. And again, here's Alistair delivering a burn on Vox, right? You'll never fill your cup. You're broken from the start. No victory will ever be enough. And there's the thing of, like, is that just him you're talking about there, Al? Will it ever be enough for you? Do you have an end goal? And this is a genuine question I'm asking about his character. Does Al have an end goal? Does he have a position where it's like, this is enough power and I'm happy with this? Like, this is what I want. This is where I want to get. And once I am there, I will be satisfied. Right? Will he ever be satisfied? Because I think Al, more than any other character, is defined by his hunger. Right? I think Al is very much in the same position that it will never be enough. And I think maybe the difference between him and Vox is that Al accepts this about himself. Like, Al kind of understands of himself that, like, yeah, no, it's never going to be enough, which is why I have to be careful, right? Like, which is why I have to be very careful about doing this. Whereas Vox does not conceptualize himself as broken. right? Vox does not have that self-insight, and he will run headfirst into a wall if you paint a big tunnel on it like the Roadrunner, and you put a little box down at the end of it that says self-fulfillment, right? Nice use of the legs to sweep the rotation there. Alistair's hair gets longer here. just for the purposes of this little swoop right there. Of course, Vox has that portrait. Again, I am 100% convinced, and I don't know that this is canon, but I'm convinced that the reason Vox's power with the tentacle cords and stuff looks like that is because he's copying Al. He's copying, that's exactly what Al does with his shadow tentacles. I think Vox could do it any other way, but he does it this way because he can't help but try and copy Al. Because Al to him is the picture of power that he wants to be, right? Al is the level of confidence in himself that Vox can't be and desperately wants to be. Also, horny. Horny, 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 horny. Very horny. And Valentino knows it. And the two of them are laughing together because they're having so much fun with the power play. And poor Valentino was like, oh. My man is flirting with another guy. Suck it, bitch. Like, deal with it, you little asshole. Fuck you. Now you know how it feels, dipshit. No sympathy, but it is very funny that he's genuinely emotional over it. Right? That he's he genuinely has such a thing for Vox. Because, like, and again, Vox has successfully manipulated him. Like, Vox doesn't give a shit about Val. He doesn't give a shit about Velvet. But he has successfully manipulated Valentino, right? Again, Valentino is vulnerable to the exact same thing that he does to others. Vox is vulnerable to the same thing that he does to others. Vox is vulnerable to his exact own manipulations. So is Valentino, right? Valentino uses other people's feelings to manipulate them and control them. He's having it done to him because he himself is weak to it. And here he is making excuses for his man, right? Like, he's not trying to hurt me. He's just stressed out. It was my fault. I shouldn't have provoked him. Taste of your own fucking medicine, Val. You little diva bastard. I know I say it a lot, but, like, genuine props to the animators for finding a way to emote with his whole set of limbs. Because that is really hard. Like making that work with the key poses. It's just a bunch of extra consideration and constraint to work around. Oh, so is that... Oh, she's a mannequin. Of course she is. She's a mannequin. She's a doll. Of course she is. Doi. That makes sense. I was looking at it, I was like, oh, it's like a spaghetti strap for like her top. But then I was like, hang on. How the fuck have I not seen that before? Oh, well. I do feel like it could be communicated a little clearer in her design in some ways. And it is a little sad that despite the V's, like, despite Vox planning to fuck them over, planning to discard them, to get rid of them, right? Like, that is in his plan, is that he's gonna get rid of the other V's. He doesn't care about them. He's gonna get rid of them like he did his co-anchor, like he did everyone else at the TV station. He's gonna do the same thing again, over and over and over until it works. Even though it never will. They still seem to hold out just a little bit. They seem to hold out a little bit of hope that they can all be friends again, essentially. Very sweet, very tragic, very stupid of you, honestly. Like, that, you should know him well enough by now to know that that's not going to happen, but hope springs evergreen. And from such hopes, perhaps, our redemption born. Oh, Abel. If only you'd grow a spine. If only you'd show a little bit of initiative. But not in a way that your father would do, please. Just, you know. Maybe not be such a goober. That would be good. Of course, it might turn out that at the end of Season 2 that Abel has been the secret villain all along, or he was manipulating the whole thing just to take over heaven. Who knows? It would be an odd thing for Abel to be the character. You'd think Cain would be that, but maybe Cain is the good twin. Who knows? And Cain only killed Abel because Abel was about to do something horrible? I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me as a plot twist. Object work. Again, this is one of those little things in animation that can be underappreciated, is a lot of animation, characters aren't really part of their environment, right? Like, and this is true of Hazbin Hotel as well. There's a lot of animation in Hazbin Hotel where characters don't really meaningfully interact with their environment at all, right? Like, they just kind of float through it or glide through it or walk through it, but the physical space, the objects and the people and the things that are there are not really considered in the animation. Again, because animating characters interacting with things is always a little bit more tricky than animating characters just doing stuff disconnected on their own, right? It's much more flexible if you just have the character animation and they can be put in any scene and you don't have to account for like any specifics. So I always appreciate and like little things like a shot that is deliberately placing the character in the space and having them interact with it in a way that informs like their state of mind. Little things like this is stuff that I just appreciate as a part of stage setting, because it's the kind of thing that, like, it's not massive all on its own, but it is the kind of thing that helps a scene, like, helps a place, a scene feel a little bit more... Oh, razzle. Or dazzle, one of the two. Feel a little bit more like a real space that matters, right? Where the characters actually are in. Yeah. Sarah finally putting her faith in something, which is something. Like, confronting her fear and putting her faith in the idea that things can get better, right? And that's character development for her. I've said it before, like, I have no sympathy for Sarah for the position that she has put herself in. She's responsible for all of this. But again, the point of the show is, okay, But we can't just condemn her to death. So the question is, what do we do then? Like, what does redemption look like? And for Sarah, this is part of it, right? Like, for Sarah, it's part of it is that she's breaking the patterns of behavior that had led her here, and she's slowly becoming like a less shit-ass fuck leader. And that's good that the show is committing to that. I don't need her to die, but I do need her to suffer, right? And this is suffering, because it hurts for her to confront all of this. And that's good. That makes for engaging storytelling. I do want her to keep going through the process, right? I don't want her to just have been redeemed because Pensius sang a song at her. That would be very musical. But I do want her to keep struggling with the personality problems that sort of inform all of this. Her lack of trust, right? Her pathological savior complex, her need to take on, like, difficult burdens, right? Like, that this is not just like, she herself says it as like, it's a burden that's been placed upon me, but over and over again she demonstrates it's a burden she places on herself, right? She takes that burden, right? And she refuses to share it with anyone else, and she refuses to share power, she refuses to share control, because part of how she deals with her anxiety is control, right? Like, that's why when she shuts Heaven off with that big giant shield, that's an attempt to reassert control over the situation. And what she's doing here is she's turning to faith, which requires her to give up direct control, right? She's putting her faith in Emily. She's putting her faith to some extent in Charlie. She can't really do it. But that is character development for her, is that rather than trying to take control of things, she's like, okay, I'm going to have to choose to believe that something better is possible and that other people can achieve that without my direct interference. And that is good character development for her. And I hope that that is something that carries through in the next several seasons, right? That we get to see Sarah go from this avatar of doubt and fear and paranoia, who's incapable of trusting, who's incapable of believing in the better angels of people's nature, right? Like, who's incapable of believing in that the sinners could be good, that they could do better, that humanity has some inner light in it that's worth preserving, even if it costs you something, to someone who's willing to, like, be faithful, like, put her faith in other people and surrender control, right? To believe in something. That's the way in which Sarah has to approach Charlie, right? Like, Charlie has sort of an excessive naivete, right? Like, she could occasionally stand to be a little bit more doubtful and paranoid, although not to the degree that Sarah is. And I wonder the extent to which they're going to play that parallel. The extent to which Sarah has anything to teach anyone else is also something I'm curious about. Because so far, Sarah's main activity has been learning that she's wrong, and then learning that she's wrong, and then learning that she's wrong, and learning that she's wrong, and learning that she's wrong, and learning that she's wrong. At some point, it would be curious to see what she might be able to teach someone else, right? Once she opens up and actually starts to, like, let go of her relentless need to be the martyr. What could she teach someone else? What could she teach Emily? What could she teach Charlie? What could she teach Pensius, even? What does she have to give besides, you know, what does she have to contribute? That's what I'm curious about with her. And if she's going to have a redemption arc, I feel like that has to be part of it. Like, we have to see her go to hell and do something, right? Take some kind of positive action to maybe be helpful in some way. Even if only, like, fuck it, go to the hotel, and why don't you fold the sheets 45 degrees for Baxter for a while? Why don't you cook for him? Why don't you, like, that would be interesting. Like, to put Sarah in a position of doing service to others in that way, I think would be an interesting development for her. Also, Abel, it feels very much like you're being set up to, like, because he's such a wiener, because he's such a pushover, it feels very much like he's being set up for a moment at some point when he actually, like, shows a backbone or some spine and does something. I don't know if it's in season 2, though. It might not be until season 3 or something. But it would be, again, it's that thing about background and supporting characters. It would be a little odd to, well, maybe not. Like, that's what we talked about with Baxter, right? Baxter was kind of introduced just to be a exposition dump for most of season 2. He didn't really get to be much of a character. Abel is a little bit the same kind of situation. He seems to be introduced to be set up to do something else later. But within the context of season 2, he doesn't really have much utility or function. He's just kind of there to be available for whatever it is he needs to do later. Which, again, an episode or two that just sort of shows the course of regular life in heaven and what Abel gets up to when there's not an apocalypse going on would have been good for his characterization, I think. Also, I do like that Lucifer's like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know where I am. Why am I here? What's going on? Oh, Charlie's going to be so mad. He's still so disconnected from the seriousness of what's happening. He doesn't even know what his power was used to do. He's just upset that his girl is going to yell at him again. What a little wiener. And again, I do like that part of his characterization. It's nice, though, that, like, even if Vox is a piece of shit who doesn't care about his friends, I do like that Val and Velvet seem to genuinely be friends who like each other. They're horrible people, but they're friends who actually like each other. And I do like that part of the characterization. Again, especially as a contrast to Vox, right? Vox can't really like anyone else. He's not really capable of it. He's not really capable of friendship because everything he does is motivated by envy. Right? Like, everything he does is motivated by jealousy. Everything, like, he sees anyone else have anything, his only thought is, I need to have that more, and they need to not have it because it's supposed to be mine, right? Like, that's his immediate reaction to anyone else having or doing anything. And the two of them, at least as far as we've seen so far, they seem to be much more simpatico. They seem to be much more, like, symbiotic in their relationship. They don't really seem interested in stealing from each other or taking over control from one another. And I do like that as a point of characterization for them relative to Vox, right? Like, something that makes them different. That it's not evil, isn't just like every single villain isn't the same solitary, I'm the only man who can never have anything. Like, they're not all Sauron, right? Like, they're not all the same kind of evil. There are different kinds of evil, and evil can sometimes include the capacity to form relationships with other evil people. And I do like that as a point of characterization for them. That the two of them seem to genuinely like each other. Because they are the same kind of bitch, I guess. Like the same kind of catty, sort of selfish, self-absorbed, image-obsessed kind of person, right? But in ways that complement one another. Yeah, the same kind of hashtag bitch, as someone says in chat. And they don't really need, like, to be better or bigger than the other one. They just need, space to do their own thing, which both of them are able to give each other. Because, like, the core of the V's relationship, of course, is that supposedly there is synergy between them, right? Supposedly, and this, again, Has Been Guarantee is the song that shows us this, is that, like, Velvet handles the social media and all the image stuff, and, like, Val is the guy who, like, does recruitment, and does a lot of, like the branding and management and the publishing, and then Vox is the face, right? He's the TV guy, he's the media control guy. Supposedly, that's all synergistic, right? In reality, though, it seems like Vox is kind of coasting off of their success a lot more than he's really doing anything himself, right? And again, good characterization that even these two assholes, these two bastards, are being taken advantage of by Vox because that's all Vox knows how to do. It's all he can do. It's all he's good for, is taking advantage of other people and stealing power and success from them, which is good characterization. Anyway. Oh god, 3 hours. Okay, yeah. Let's sit through the credits. Adam Nayland getting the writing credit on this one. I do want to see what happens with Angel Dust, though. Like, do they resolve? Because, like, Vox has to go down, right? He has to go down by the end of this season to some extent. Like, he has to be taken out. So does his hypnotic control of Angel break? Because, like, Angel would have every reason in the world to want to flee, right? After what he's done, after what's happened, after what he's been revealed to have been complicit in, or he's going to feel complicit, even though he didn't really, like, he was mind controlled. It was very much not in his hands. My suspicion is that Angel is going to try and run away, and Husk is going to have to chase him down or find him. But the question is whether he ends the season going back to Valentino. That would be sort of the thing I'd be worried about for him, is that, like, he loses faith in redemption and ends up going back to his old ways, like going back to all his worst impulses, right? Like drinking the poison again because he feels he deserves to be poisoned. That feels like a place that Angel's character might go. Because it feels like Angel's fate is gonna be part of the cliffhanger for season 3. Because, like, I don't know that they're presumably not gonna do the apocalypse again for season 3. And it would be nice to have a season that's more focused on the interpersonal drama. Rather than, like, oh, the apocalypse happened in season 1, and the apocalypse happened in season 2. And oh no, season 3, guess what? It's the apocalypse again! Could be nice to have a slightly lower stakes, more personal stakes season. I don't know if that's, again, given the amount of episodes that they have and the amount of story they want to tell, I don't know if that's in the cards, but it would be nice. I really just want more hangout time with the gang, honestly. Three songs in this one, too. I need to go back and listen to all of these songs a few times before I know how I feel about them. I wasn't really taken by When I Think About the Future. It feels like a transitional song. It feels like a song whose primary function is to just set up for other shit. But in itself, it didn't really have that much. Live to Live, I adore it just because it's so cheesy. I don't know about When I Think About the Future. Like, it if it has a companion piece, maybe in the finale or something like that, maybe that'll... But this feels more like this is just setting... Again, much of the episode feels this way. It's setting the scene for the end, right? And as a song in and of itself, it's sort of... Yeah, it's a medley kind of song. Brighter is interesting because it's Alistair's I Am... it's not Alistair's, it's Vox's I Am song, right? And that's the thing I commented on back at the start of the season, is that when we get up there, like, that to me felt like an I Want song, right? Like, that was Vox's I Want song. I want to get up there. I want to become God. I want to, right? And that was interesting to me as a thing, because usually the classical thing in a Disney movie is that the villain has more of an I am song, right? I am the baddest. I am the worst. I am like no one fights like Gaston. Like, that's an I am song, right? It's just a song about how Gaston is all these things, right? But not really about what he wants. It's like, I am the best. I am the... So Brighter is much more an I am song, because that's Vox revealing himself fully, right? Like, the sheer extent of his jealousy and his pettiness and how empty he really is inside. That's what Brighter is about. So that's the I Am song, which is much more of a classic villain song. But again, because the whole episode is so transitional, it doesn't feel like a big highlight moment. It feels more like a, here's a thing we're also doing in this episode, because we have to explain the villain's deal at some point, but it doesn't feel like it comes at like a big climactic moment of any kind. It feels like it's, yeah, which is an interesting decision. And I wonder how it's going to pay off, if at all. Because, like, Vox definitely... The I Am song helps. Like, I like the characterization we get for him in Brighter. Like that it's so clearly showing off that all he is jealous, right? All he is covetous. All he is someone who takes, right? He doesn't have original ideas. He doesn't have original thoughts. He doesn't have anything to contribute because all he is someone who takes from other people and pretends that it's his own, right? I'm a weatherman? No, I'm a TV host because they have the better job. No, I'm a talk show host because they have the better job. No, I'm a network owner because they have the better... Like, I'm a producer, I'm a network owner, I'm a... Just take, right? But never comes up with anything himself. And I like that part of his characterization. It's also just... I had kind of, like... And again, it's sort of... I had kind of clocked that about him already. Like, because that's part of the whole thing he does in Vox Populi and Vox Dei is we see him do that. We see him just kind of steal from Lilith, try to step into Lucifer's position, try to mimic the aesthetics of power that Sarah shows off. Like, so that's kind of, for me, I was already there. So for me, the song didn't really reveal very much except that he's evil Stephen Colbert. So I don't feel like the song told me anything new, but that's going to be different for different people, right? Like, not everyone spends 3 hours frame by framing their way through this shit the way that I do. Thank God, because if they did, I might have competition. And we can't have that. Then I'd have to hide in an alleyway and then slice their neck open with a little pointing stick and hide their body in a dumpster, and that wouldn't be any fun. So you better not compete with me. What? I didn't say anything. You didn't hear that. Don't be hysterical. That's a lot of fucking animators. You need a lot of fucking animators for this. You need a lot of cleanup as well. God, cleanup is so important. And again, cleanup is like so much in animation. Like, part of the tragedy of animation is the better you are at it, the less effort it looks. Right? Like, the less effort it seems like, the less work it seems like, because it feels more and more natural, it feels more and more smooth, and you just kind of accept it as it is, and you go, oh yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like. And there's a weird irony in that bad animation. Often it's more obvious how much work went into bad animation because you can see, like, because it doesn't flow, because it doesn't swing, because it doesn't work, right? Good animation, in part because of animation cleanup artists whose whole job is to make it look as clean as possible and make it look as smooth and nice as possible. When it's really, really good, you don't think about it. And it's a tragic thing with animation that, like, it's doomed to be an invisible art in some ways like that. The greatest masters of the art are doomed to just not really be seen fully for how much fucking work, how much sheer just time and effort and labor goes into making this shit happen. And as I've said before, insofar as I have a mission with these reactions, it's I want to make the work visible a little bit. I want to try and sit here and go, hey, that shit that they did right there, that's fucking hard. That thing that looks so effortless and clean, that's fucking hard. This thing that looks a little bit fucked up, yeah, it's fucked up because it's fucking hard, right? Like, it's... Nothing in animation is trivial. It just isn't. It's all craft, right? It's all craft. It's all work that has to be done to make it work. And there is no shortcut, right? Even with all of the modern tools of animation, even with all of the, like, a lot of the labor has been offloaded finally onto, like, machines are able to do a lot of the busy work, right? Like, we don't have to draw on paper anymore. You can draw in a program that can perfectly replicate your previous lines, and, like, you can use that to cut. But even then, like, there is no way around it. Like, it's a craft. It's an animation craft. And if you don't know the craft, you can't make anything good. That's why AI animation always looks like shit. It always looks like garbage because it cannot be expressive. It can't make decisions. All it can do is average. All it can do is put out averages of shit. And animation doesn't run on averages. Animation runs on decisions. It runs on acting. And machines can't do that, right? Like, there's a limit. There's a hard limit to how much of this shit you can automate. It's one of the things I love about animation, is that you are rewarded so much for paying attention. If you pay attention to animation, if you pay attention, you think about everything that happens on screen as a choice, right? Like, everything that's being done on screen is a decision that's being made. It rewards you because it gives you so many opportunities to engage with the mind of an artist. What was the artist thinking when they did this? Why is Baxter's confession of friendship treated this way, right? Like, why is Sarah handled so, like, her animation is so dour and downplayed, and she very rarely makes big, excited gestures, but Emily does all the time. Oh shit, acting choices. There's something here to think about. You are rewarded for paying attention, and I love that about animation. The more you pay attention, the more work you get to see, and the more magical it all seems. It's sort of the opposite of a magic trick, where it can get kind of ruined once you see what's happening behind the scenes, right? Like, once you see how it's all done, you can kind of go, oh, is that it? It's just a trick? Animation, I feel the opposite. The more I learn about the tricks and how this shit works, the more fascinated I become. The more fun it gets. Anyway, I think that's probably an episode. Isn't it? Yeah, that's an episode. So, if you want to become a member, you can do that. You get early access, and you can see the sort of more convenient versions of this if you want to. But you don't have to. It's fine if you don't. It's okay if you just watch the videos this way. Like, you've been watching, if you're hearing this, you've been watching for like 3.5 hours. So, whatever is wrong with you is clearly advantageous to me, and it's probably some of the same things that are wrong with me, so that's probably fine. And I'll be happy to keep enabling whatever bad downwards mental health spiral you're on right now, so long as you keep watching ads. Thank you very much. Good night.